Welcome back, everybody. That's right. We're going to be taking over for the wholesome duo of Lyrical and Trent. You're going to have to deal with the dirty duo that is myself and Kyle. We're going to be covering the next match, which is Vici Gaming versus Fnatic, which I think is going to be pretty interesting. For me, anyway, Kyle, I feel like both of these teams have a pretty big question mark on them. No pun intended, whatever that last series was with OG and everything. Not intended whatsoever. For me, Vici Gaming and Fnatic, I just don't really know where they're going to end up. For me, Fnatic could end up being like 13th through 16th, or maybe they're a top 8 team. I honestly don't know.
That's a lot of variance there, Cap. You're saying they might, if they really perform, be top 8. That's a bold statement.
I mean, do you disagree? Do you think they're placed much higher?
No, they were in my just trying to not be last group, I think.
Okay.
But I would say heavy underdogs. They were kind of middling throughout the season. They had to reverse sweep TNC. They were down 2-0, ended up taking it in the SEA qualifiers. Vici, I think, probably the most consistent Chinese team throughout like what feels like the last half decade. But if you looked at the there were some power rankings like Vici, nobody has them top 4. But nobody's got them, bottom 8 either.
Yeah.
They're like pretty much that guaranteed 5th through 6th almost is what it feels like.
Yeah. It's definitely, for my money anyway, I feel like this team is entirely based around Old 11. Maybe not playing around Old 11, but I feel like their success or failure is very dependent on their offlaner. Because Old 11 has just been this way for like years now, where he can excel at the highest level, but at the same time, he can kind of feed a bit. He used to be one of my favorite offlaners coming out of China. In fact, it was my favorite offlaner until about 2-3 years ago when I kind of made the decision that I was just like, okay, I can't have you, if you're going to be a top 3 team in the world, I can't have this inconsistency in performance that he has, right?
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's a really good point. Offlane traditionally has been the role that allowed for the most volatility.
Yep.
But I think things have changed a bit, especially because the diversity of the hero pool has opened up so much. So you just really have to be more consistent. I feel like if there's any role that is allowed to like take more risks nowadays, it's actually more the carry. Because if you mess up as an offlaner, remember back in the day, like Darkseer Spirit Breaker, you're diving tower 2 minutes into the game.
Yeah.
You mess that up nowadays, like you've just lost.
Yeah, the lane's over for you.
5 seconds remaining.
And we see Silencer come out. We were talking about this in the green room with Owie. He's not sold on the hero. I, however, big fan of Tiny. I think ET was picked, for me at least, as the most picked hero at this tournament. I think it's just unbelievably strong. You think about the components of top picks in TI, almost always they're multi-role, multi-lane. ET is a 3, 4, or 5. Theoretically, could be a 1 or a 2. Honestly, you can play wherever you want, but removing all armor, removing all magical resistance. Like this is a mechanic that just isn't fair. You sit on towers, similar to like the Wyvern of old, and you're an incredible laner. What do you do?
if you combine taking away somebody's base armor with this Weaver who's already outputting tons of physical damage, and then he's got the bugs on top of that, it feels like a pretty nasty combination and a potential, like, great for team fight, but also potentially really strong lane winning one as well.
Yeah, and I look at this and think, Weaver ET, that's going to be something we're going to see together. Silencer, Tiny, Tiny, another hero that we're going to see quite a lot of in this tournament. I played a bunch of Dota leading up to TI, and I had the luxury of supporting Paparazzi, now Eurus, of course, and Ame on Tiny, and these guys just absolutely dumpstered games. We saw EG pick it twice already, I believe. So,
do you think it's? I had it as my most banned hero because I thought at some point it would just prove to be too successful that it would be elevated to a ban. But do you think it occupies that territory? Top ban, top pick, that area?
I think we'll have to see. We saw OG play at middle.
Yeah.
I think if people realize that it's like equally effective as a 1 or a 2 or maybe even a 3, then yes. But a lot of teams pick it and it's a carry, and it's a carry.
Right.
And that's what you open with. And I think by the time we get to day 2 or 3 of the group stage, it'll have been figured out enough that it's going to be something you're almost daring the enemy team to pick.
Sure, sure. A lot of bans are more versatile heroes, right?
Yeah.
Or heroes that are so OP that You just don't want to leave him in. Earthshaker, Monkey King both operate as support and core, right? Though I haven't seen a whole lot of Earthshaker support in pubs lately.
Yep. It's more of an offlaner now.
Vici
Yeah.
Gaming's turn
Seen
to
a lot of
ban.
Morphling too. It's been a really interesting opening series. I actually enjoyed having the first one off just because I got a shot to, watch all the games, see who looks strong, see what's going on, and neither one of these teams, of course, have played their debut yet. This is it, and I think
10
Fnatic
seconds remaining.
going to have something to
Vici
prove. A
Gaming's
little bit of
turn to pick.
fun fact. So was talking to the director of Fnatic yesterday and
Fnatic's turn
learned
to
some
pick.
cool information. Notably, of course, they're coached by Sunby, who did
Right.
all of the drafting during both DPC seasons.
Okay.
Jabs requested to captain. It was DJ throughout the year. Jabs wanted to captain, and he wanted to draft.
10
And that's
seconds
the
remaining.
man in the captain's chair throughout those qualifiers, and he's still obviously
5 seconds
there today. So
remaining.
Sunby, of course, one of the more storied coaches in Dota, will obviously be helping him prep and supporting him, but it will be Jabs clicking the buttons and he who accepts ultimate responsibility. A wild story, really, of how this team came to be at this stage, considering, Chuan was off lane, then the CEO Moon was replaced by the board. Death comes in to play off lane. Chuan moves over to mid, and I actually got the chance to play a bunch of games with Death as well. Spammed Lycan. So Fnatic actually banned it out. They certainly recognize the power of the hero. This guy would have 2 items slotted, but still be winning my team the game. So much
Yeah.
love to Death for the MMR.
I think the biggest reason that we are probably doubtful of Fnatic is that, like, initially they're coming from what is a very strong region qualifier.
Yeah.
Right? It's like you look at China, for example. I actually thought that qualifier was pretty weak.
Yep.
Watching that qualifier, because all
You
the
knew
good teams qualified.
Yeah.
It was either E-Home or Elephant. You
And
know,
that was
it's
the
one
final.
of two. Fnatic, obviously, Southeast Asia only getting one team in before the qualifiers
Yep.
in T1 meant like all these strong teams were left over. So initially, it's like, oh, Fnatic, they should be pretty good, but they didn't do very well at Dota Pit.
No, definitely not. And
Yeah.
I really,
10
I
seconds
expected
remaining.
TNC to take it, to be quite honest. And for the first
Yeah.
hour and a half, it looked
5
like they would, and then all
Yeah.
of a sudden,
It looked like a 3-0.
yeah, I can't believe that, to be quite honest. And it's a good sign, especially with the circumstances around how they played that final. But if you can come to TI kind of
Vici
knowing, like, look,
Gaming's turn
think
to
about
pick.
what we went through to get here, right? Like 2 years of grinding. You're still in the qualifier. You're down 2-0. Like, most teams just falter. In fact, I looked through. I couldn't find another instance where a regional qualifier winner dropped the first 2 games of the BO5. I
10
cannot find it.
seconds remaining.
Yeah, reverse sweeps in Dota in best of fives
5
especially
seconds
are
remaining.
pretty rare.
Yeah.
And I feel like they've only big ones stand out were final games, right?
Yeah, it was
IG versus EG
yeah.
this year.
Nigma versus Secret at Mad Moon
Okay.
2 years ago.
Fnatic
And then,
Okay.
of course, the
turn to
legendary DK comeback.
Yeah, the best of
The
7
best
comeback.
of 7. Yeah. 3-0, they went to lunch or something, that
yes,
hour-long
they had
break.
an hour-long break for lunch.
Yeah, and this hero is a Puyo special. Like, the Spectre, especially combined with the Tidehunter, is
10
one of my
seconds
favorite
remaining.
combos because your team fight is just seemingly unstoppable.
5 seconds remaining.
And you're very complimentary. You want to pressure a Spectre lineup. Well, Tidehunter will happily accept that, and Spectre can just be split around the map. But more importantly, this is a natural Manta buying hero against Rubik and Silencer. Highest reach of any carry, and you're just going to pop immediately onto one of these guys. And Jabs and DJ are going to have some serious trouble.
What do you think? Where's the Weaver going in this
Fnatic's
situation?
turn to bat.
Because when I think of Old 11, like, he is a go-in hero.
Yeah.
He's a go-in player. He's a Bat Rider. He's a Mars. He's that kind of player. Is this a 3 Weaver, or are we putting it into 4 position with a 3 Tide? Is it a mid-Tide Hunter?
10
Like Thompson
seconds
did at
remaining.
what, TI? Was that TI 9 or TI 8? One of those.
5
Well,
seconds
earlier today,
remaining.
even.
Oh, did they play mid-Tide Hunter earlier today?
Yeah, he played
Yeah.
against Lena and really interesting.
Oh,
build,
yeah,
the
that's
phase
right.
boots
Yeah.
drums.
Yeah.
I think it's possible, but I probably prefer it on Old 11. I think you can also move the Weaver to a 4, perhaps.
Yeah.
It's
But
actually
then that means you're dependent on the whole Aghanims build,
yeah,
right?
but
Is
how
that
how
good?
cool is that though? Because think
Okay.
about it, you can time reverse. That's not what it's called. You can reverse time.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Time lapse.
Sure. On your Spectre, who outputs tons of damage with like Blade Mail perhaps and the dispersion,
10
then you just
seconds.
troop full
Turn to
health,
pick.
and now if you kill him, you're actually just killing yourselves. That's a combo.
Vici
Okay.
Gaming's turn to pick.
So you're pretty much saying it's hard enough to kill Spectre once she's doing a bunch of damage
Yeah.
back at you. If you put her back up to full health, then you're going to have a problem on your hands. Fnatic are picking a last pick hero for them that is a hero that typically doesn't run out of damage. So I like that idea. It adds in a silence against
seconds
Weaver, which they
remaining.
already had Silencer on top of that. So the Silencer is actually going to be having
That's
a
good
very
point.
fun time with that
Yeah.
combination. A lot of people have tried out these lane duos. Silencer plus AUI was telling us about Drow.
Which is sick.
My personal preference was 4-position Silencer with Night Stalker because it actually made the Night Stalker silence do something during the day. Plus, it's a nice frontliner for
Yeah.
you.
It's actually okay. So
Okay.
this is time. I wanted to talk about the importance of Ori for this Vici Gaming lineup, and he's going to just try and demonstrate that right off the bat with SF. This is my favorite hero, and I consider hard counter to Death Prophet, not just in the lane, but in the game. High burst. Death Prophet wants to drain you. Well, you catch a triple nuke, you can't heal through that damage. And later on, if you catch an ultimate, first off, it's incredible burst, but if you get feared away, all of your drains dissipate, and it's a super easy way to disengage and kite the exorcism. So
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of this pick, and I think, for Weaver, I'm a big fan of this as well. I think Vici Gaming's lineup just looks terrifying. The natural power spike of this SFBKB helps get your Spectre engaged. Like, this is something back when Maybe and FYAMI were all playing together. Like, this is this old school LGD lineup that we would be used to seeing in like 2017, 2018. And I just really like what Vici have. Fnatic, I think, need to take some serious tempo advantage to take this dub.
Yeah, I haven't actually thought about because SF was always good against Death Prophet, right?
Yeah.
But I've never thought about the fear aspect just being one more reason that like Death Prophet got changed, added in the Spirit Siphon. Now SF has a fear, so he just continues to counter it every step of the way. We are going to be having a Jabs Rubik, so that'll be nice to be able to see. Of course, never going to be able to see the DJ Rubik again. I feel it's just a hero that just kind of needs to be in a higher net worth priority, right? So that legend of old is perhaps a little bit dead, but still, Fnatic. So you're saying they have to take pretty fast tempo? I mean, they are going to be outscaled by a Spectre no matter what, but there is serious cooldown issues on Vici Gaming, right? Like, they have this amazing team fight: Ravage, Requiem, Haunt,
Yep.
but they're all long cooldown abilities.
Indeed, but I think this is why I feel Vici are, like a lock for top 6, but not top 4.
Okay.
In a lot of people's predictions. Like, they have an incredibly high floor, but their ceiling might be capped because this is the Dota that they play, right? It's just solid. It's well crafted. You have a lot of natural synergy, specifically when it comes to damage reduction, but also minus armor and damage amplification within their draft. As you said, really strong team fight, but it is exploitable if you play up against a squad that has more pace than you. They can't really take
30
Ancients that
seconds
effectively.
to
Yeah,
go.
sure, Tidehunter, but if your Tide is taking Ancients and then you have a Spectre, like, who's actually getting things done on the map? And Weaver ET aren't exactly great at rotating or making moves, whereas, of course, Rubik is the ultimate ganking hero, especially with the boots first. So be curious to see how it plays out. I'm just hyped, man. It's just so cool to watch TI just because of the Dota. Like,
Yeah.
it's just so good. And
The battle
it's just nice.
begins.
I'm enjoying myself. You got to remind me if I don't talk for a while that I'm supposed to do a job here, not just vibe.
Well, I've got an additional job that I'll also be trying to focus on. Apologies ahead of time if the observing is not up to standard. You're going to be hearing that from a lot of the casters here. We've been living the good life, We haven't had to do observing for ourselves in a long time. So we'll, I'll try and do my best.
Yeah.
I'll try and do my best.
And no matter how bad it is, Cap, no, I am not going to replace you. And trust me, viewers at home, you do not want to see my camera work because it is shoddy. I can't even do my own camera work on my own stream.
Vici Gaming did start off with the 3 bounty runes. Nice already. DJ getting a 2-man Arcane Curse. Trying to get that harassment in.
Yeah, both, Weaver, PYW starts with the stick. Old 11 will grab his ASAP. Very critical against a tiny silencer lane. They do quite often spam their spells.
And then bottom lane is Jabs playing Rubik alongside Death is Mars. DY comes in, snipes the courier, gets a little damage onto Jabs. Helped out by the Spectral Dagger slow as well. He's going to commit for this one, and he is barely going to get that one hit to finish him off. Either way, probably would have gotten the kill. Nice first blood for Vici Gaming to add on top of the bounty rune advantage they already had. It's a very good start for them.
I mean, that's a balanced hero right there, Cap. And one of the main reasons you're going to see Elder Titan quite a bit. All this late game potential, super high damage output and amplification, but your laning phase is nuts. I think you might be even stronger than an Undying. And legitimately was a dagger from Poyo and some smacks with the briefcase, and that's the end.
You just get 100-0'd.
Like a boots first Rubik too. Like that's the other thing. He can buy boots and still outrun anybody.
Yeah. And then our mid lane matchup, Ori versus Chuan, which we do have, let's see, where's our SF? 10-4 compared to 6-2, so Ori is really dumpstering this matchup already. So if it's a counter later on to the game with your abilities to be able to blow up the Death Prophet 100-0 combined with the Fear, it's already starting off very poorly for Chuan.
It's just an unwinnable matchup, you know. Ori shows up, spams nukes to outlast hit you. Death Prophet doesn't really output too much damage pressure in the early laning phase. And then SF has souls. And suddenly, even with the nerfs to Necromaster, you know, he's sitting at 64 damage. Chuan is 62. So a better attack animation and better scaling in that sense.
Sentries all over the place. They do manage to find the kill onto PYW. Fnatic certainly kind of needs some of those kills because it doesn't feel like these lanes are naturally going their way. You can see the Tide beating out, canceling the Salve with the Gush. Very nice. But this is a lane that's naturally going to win, right? Tide Weaver have good synergy, minus armor, combined together with a lot of physical damage. And when Tiny doesn't have the tree, then Tide is going to be able to outlast hit him a lot of times.
Yeah, and also a zero armor hero against effectively almost pure physical damage output in the laning phase. The early Geminate and Harass from PYW is going to stack up, but then of course,
yeah, sure. deny the Sentry. That gives no experience and no bounty. I think a large part of the problem that just comes down to the fact that they're playing Silencer, right? Like the 5-position Silencer does not win your lane for you.
No, it does not.
Yeah, compared to DY over here, who is making Jab's life total hell.
Even stacked out. I love how you know, one of the only 5 positions that just leaves the hard camp open because you plus 129. Like, what even is this?
Yeah. Spear back, Poyo-Yo. Actually pretty low here, but Death may be beaten down. Telekinesis and DY is going to be forced back. They do pull the creep wave over, so if they have regen, which they do, DY's got a salve he can give over to Poyo-Yo. Should be able to reset.
I'm surprised he played so aggressive on the Spectre, though. If he got that spear, I think he might just die. He was at 127 HP when he got salved. And now, oh man, Ori's level 5 middle as well, Cap. Like, this lane does not get any happier for Chuan, especially now that he has the boots disadvantage.
Yeah. We'll keep an eye on how well Ori is able to bully there. I want to talk about the support duo of Vici Gaming. I feel like they've been a story for this entire year. It feels like they are one of the best support duos in the game right now. I feel like so much of this team is based off of PYW and DY and the success they've had as supports, just winning lanes and then being able to rotate the mid lane, help out Ori. Every single time I watch this team, I'm like, damn, these supports are doing so much work. And that's why I think they pick heroes like ET and Weaver, heroes that naturally scale up a bit. Old 11 may just be running down DJ here, as he does have a mango. He put it out from the backpack and is able to consume it. And hell, Raven's actually still pretty low, so he's got to be careful too. There's still a swarm ready to go.
Yeah, I like how old he saved 1,200 gold, and they're still dumpstering this lane. Like, one of the biggest faux pas, I feel, and it drives me nuts if I see people do it, but he might just be thinking, you know, could I switch this up? No, he'll go for phase boots. But I was thinking maybe he just decides, like, wow, I'm huge. I could get an early HOD I can like rush some hood, but no. He'll go right for phase boots, which will make him terrifying because until he's level 6, like Raven is a now 2 armor hero because of the agility treads.
Yeah, and that armor goes away real quickly when he gets gushed, when he gets put on a swarm, and they'll just force him out of lane again.
Yeah, he needs 6 to even be able to stand here, and
Yeah.
with phase boots, old 11 should be able to just like take him down. And I'm looking at jabs. Like somebody has got to change the laning phase because Vici will very comfortably sit in a 1 core per lane scenario indefinitely. As long as you let this game stay static, Fnatic, Vici will take it, and that's concerning. Top 3 net worth, all 3 cores of Vici Gaming, and it really doesn't get easier unless they can make some moves.
Well, both supports are kind of roaming around. We saw Jabs kind of occupying the mid lane for a bit, and then I think they realized that Poyoyo has kind of been left alone for a bit, so they're going to try do what they can to him here. He does have a Fairy Fire. He's going to have to pop it to try and stay alive here. Here comes Ori to be able to bail him out. Not quite fast enough, though. Poyoyo still dies. Death is certainly going to lose his life. Maybe they can catch Jabs as well. The Stomp is going to be too late, though. Teleport out. Gets them away. That is certainly a success for Fnatic. That was a huge rotation. They still got the kill that they were looking for.
Yeah, I actually can't believe that Poyoyo goes down there.
Radiant's middle tower is under
Suffering a bit. You don't see many carry players pick up raindrops, but if there was a lane to do it, I feel like it would have been this one.
I'm surprised Tuan isn't popping Exorcism, right? He sees the SFTP bottom lane. Surely that's the time to pressure this mid tower, right?
Yeah, but he maybe just, you feel that Vici, they've all gone missing from the bottom lane. They're going to be heading back up towards you, and the danger of utilizing Exo is that you're then just, I don't want to say like worthless, but it feels bad.
Sure.
You don't actually output any threat, and against an SF, it means that for the next 2 minutes he just outfarms you considerably because his hero's better. And yeah, you want to use the Invisor. He's going to go right top.
Looking for this kill on Old 11. But they need more than just Tuan to be able to kill. Raven's going to cut over, and they're going to initiate. Old 11. Is he going to hold on to Ravage? I think he's just going to accept his death. He will. So Exorcism gets that kill, and we'll see what else they do with the Exorcism. Doesn't look like they want to push that offlane tower, so maybe he'll just farm some neutrals. Let Jabs try and pick up level 6 mid lane.
Like this build on Ori too. This is my favorite way to play SF. You see a lot of guys going for the bots, Jules builds, but this is the way I think that in this patch you want to play it. Like brute force. The new shard was buffed. Makes your right stronger. Ooh.
Raven, he got surprise stomped by DY, and that just allows a massive TP rotation. They even pop Poyoyo the Exorcism, maybe just because he didn't feel safe bottom lane anymore. So he's like, okay, time for a lane swap. I'll come up the top lane, be a part of the kill, so you can push down this tower.
They're 5 heroes.
Yeah.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Take this tower fast enough, and they may still be able to defend
Radiant's bottom tower
maybe
is
bottom
under
lane.
attack.
I don't know if they ever want to return back to bottom lane, though. I guess PYW, if he had TP, he could go down there and like swarm and just kind of like be annoying and get experience.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
It's pretty dangerous though. You're looking at a Mars, right, with Arena active. Offlane towers typically do get abandoned, and if you're Vici Gaming, it's all about just making that first move. Do you overcommit a bit? Sure, but again, we talked about it, the draft, the scaling power. You're comfortable just trading time. You know, in a 50-50 scenario, you're winning because your lineup is going to scale so much better.
And that's kind of like Vici Gaming. That's been their story for most of the year, right? Has been the fact that I feel like their drafts always or typically outscale their opponents, but they don't play like their late game drafts. They play pretty like 5-man balls. So it's pretty much like, we're going to take team fights against you, and if we win those team fights, we also outscale you.
Radiant's bottom
In a way that like the fact that all of their heroes in this game will scale up does allow them to play less greedy when it comes to farm, because just naturally, if they get experience, they'll still feel strong.
Yeah, it's just tough. Like I'm thinking to myself, you know what? The Fnatic, they're not out of this by any means. Like it's an even game, but I'm trying to think like, how do you make moves? Like,
yeah, how do you use this next exorcism to like get an objective somewhere?
yeah, it's going to be that right there. The Blink Dagger picked up on Mars. It's just scary. Like, I think, you want the mid tower with Exorcism. Yes, but you're playing into Ravage. You're going to have Spectre Haunt up in 40 seconds. And this SF is very strong. Maxed out souls, 80 bonus damage, plus the Dragon Lance and Power Treads. So if you try to go for him, especially now with ulti skilled, you're in some serious trouble if you don't 100-0 him. Because just that fear, we talked about it. Suddenly everybody flees from your own arena, and he stands there and nukes whoever he wishes.
So that's definitely got to be a clean execution for Fnatic, and that is public enemy #1, right? Like, they have to 100-0 the SF at the start of a team fight, and then the rest of Vici Gaming doesn't look so scary because their primary damage dealer is gone. Spectre isn't going to do that much just yet, though it's not going to take very much for him to come online, right? He's going to go that Aghanims build that we've seen. He's not going to go multiple Falcon Blades, which we've seen a number of people do, just the one.
He's rushing Aghanims.
Yeah. Straight for that Ags. I guess in a way, because he's got both Weaver and Tidehunter, that allows him to come online sooner, right? It's like damage amplifiers, all that minus armor.
That's really interesting. Is that a thing people have been doing? I haven't seen
Yeah,
that.
the Ags rush, yeah. Though Falcon Blades, I've seen people, like I've seen Spectres get like 2 Falcon Blades and then go Aghanim Scepter. It's,
It's certainly a good item. Like, your biggest issue is that with no Haunt, you have downtime, right? Well, suddenly Spectre, you just find somebody, and it's especially effective when you consider Rubik and Silencer just feed to him the entire game. So you see them, and suddenly you kind of turn into a PA almost.
Yeah. Means you've got both team fight and extremely good pickup potential, and as you said, no downtime for the Spectre being involved in team fights.
And I love how they're playing so conservative too. PYW just ulted just to be safe, and Poyoyo was like farming under his tier 2 tower. Like, they're just very content with the pace of this game, and everything's ready for Fnatic. They've had Exorcism for quite some time now. Arena's ready, the Blink's ready, Silencer ult ready.
Yeah, it does feel like in a way you're like, I know you don't want to blow ultimates unnecessarily, but it does feel like a shame when you're like, I could have global 3 minutes ago.
Yeah.
And like the game would be the same. We just aren't really making use of these big abilities. They are going to be going for the Shadowblade build onto Raven, so expect the full Silver Edge crit first hit.
Yep. It's also just a necessary tool if you ever want to kill a Spectre. Removing Dispersion is certainly necessary.
Yeah, the Silver Edge is going to be really valued because Tide as well, right?
And I'm also, I love TI because there's these questions you ask about efficiency throughout the year, and then at TI everybody does like what the math would tell you. In this case, Poyoyo, we saw a lot of like 204 builds, right? But that second point in Desolate, taking the bonus damage from 18 to 32, it's most value. And suddenly you're a real offensive threat.
Yeah.
You don't just max Dispersion like Farm Lane. Now you can actually get things done. Tide, mid, care.
They're going to try and go for the Tidehunter. And sure, he can Ravage, but again, Old 11 is left all alone. He's going to pop the last second here, and we'll be able to steal it. Uh-oh. Look out for that one. I don't think this is a fight that Vici Gaming can take any longer. Fnatic finally managed to pull the trigger and get the objective that we've been kind of waiting for. And that, I mean, the reason we were concerned is that net worth was building up, right? Vici Gaming was up 2,000, all of a sudden less than 1,000 off of one move.
Yeah, that was exactly what they wanted. Jab stealing Ravage also somewhat secures the next 2 minutes for them.
Yeah.
You don't want to play into that. Now with the Shadowblade, hell yeah, Raven, like, let's get aggressive again. Yeah, you don't have Exorcism, but you don't necessarily need it. Like, you have Ravage. Oh, we'll see. I mean, hey, 4-4, 15 minutes in. A slow game. We've discussed the concerns because I'm looking at Ori and I see him closing in on the BKB. That's the big fear for me when I look at Fnatic's lineup, because we discussed it. The fear effectively stops their team fight in its tracks. And yeah, time to smoke. They are not under award, so we'll see where they end up going. Arena up in 15 seconds. They'd love to find Ori. They will.
This is a big, big kill. Ori gonna be surprised as the smoke is gonna land right on top of that SF. I almost feel like that's I feel like you could kind of see that kind of move coming,
indeed. And hey, maybe just a little too fast for Vici to recover. Be careful on PYW, but he'll be fine now. Love the Veil build on DJ. Ton of spell damage on his draft. Ghosts function as spell damage, so one of the very few ways you can help out your Death Prophets damage out, but I guess minus armor still. But either way.
Well, Raven's going to love it as well, right? Adds even more to his combo. Yeah, Fnatic, they're going to get into a really good swing of things for the next 10 minutes, right? I think it's all about, like, how much can they accomplish? How many objectives can we take? Can they get that first Roshan successfully, for example? Are we going to be able to take control of the enemy triangle, which they're already doing, and will manage to kill DY? Fnatic picking up the pace a little bit, and you can see Vici Gaming not looking for fights right now. They're waiting till the next BKB. Ori, once he picks that up, maybe Vici Gaming can fight back, but I still feel like it's going to be difficult. They're probably just going to have to give up this Roshan entirely.
Level 12 on the Death Prophet too, so it's really nice timing.
Yeah.
And well done by Fnatic. This would be a huge win for them if they can take it. You're going up against a near consensus top 8, top 6 team with a lot of question marks, and you're going up against what is effectively the bread and butter of Vici Gaming. You're on a bit of a clock, but so far, you know, the big objectives. The mid tower into a big kill on the enemy mid hero, delays the BKB, and now right into the Roshan. Hey, why not a fight if you can find it?
Vici Gaming forcing some rotations and cleanly getting out, it looks like. They may even... They're going to try and go back in with that arena going down. They are going to actually pop the ultimate. Spectre's going to join them for this one, trying to go for death, but Raven interferes with the Avalanche, and Vici Gaming are going to kind of reset here, maybe try and finish off this tower.
Yeah, they just hit the power spike. The BKB from SF arrived. It would have got there mid-fight had it begun, and the Aghanims on the Spectre up and running, so...
I like the fact that they're not scared. You know, like, okay, you took that Aegis, but it cost you Exorcism. We've got this BKB. They're not afraid. They're not going to give up map just because they know, as you said, with this BKB, they are capable of fighting back.
Also, DY with the Veil, I feel so vindicated. I bought this item in all my games, and I got flamed, and I see every single team buying a Veil.
Yeah.
It's like, who would have thought 18% damage increase for 1,500 gold would be a good thing? Wild stuff. Either way.
You know what's funny to me, Kyle? Is that I feel like you're really good about understanding the mechanics of damage in Dota, but you're terrible at understanding spell mechanics around each other. And I just kind of like, I don't understand how that works. You're so good at being able to understand the mechanics of damage. What happened to spells, Kyle?
There's just so many spells, whereas damage is very rigid. There's only 3
it's
types.
Universal, right?
Exactly.
Okay. That makes sense.
Damage is, you know, I remember talking to Insania about this, where he talked about how this speech I used to give back in Han about damage and damage mechanics was something they still use. And I was like, damn, I forgot about that. Why wasn't I using that as a captain and pro player? And now I'm only remembering what I already had said, but it's too late, I've retired.
Radiant are scared.
Yeah, you had to watch OG use those damage mechanics to win TI multiple times. Old 11, I highlighted that just now. I was like, damn, that's a BKB Tidehunter. He's not afraid of being broken anymore. In fact, he's going to use the Ravage right away, and it's not looking too hot for Fnatic. They've got to start retreating, but Poyo is going to be right on top of them. Jabs being run down. Is Spectre going to jump to them? No, actually couldn't, I think. Oh, no, he could. Global Silence is still up. Fnatic may actually try and go back in. DY steps a bit too far forward, and Fnatic look for that punish. They get one. 1-for-1 trade-off so far with the Exorcism being used. Old 11 getting a little greedy there, trying to farm neutrals on his way back. They're going to pop the SF ultimate. The Requiem does give a fear that is just enough to get Old 11 out of here. Long-range tree toss is not going to make it.
And Jabs has Blink Ravage still, like really, really quick. You can see why they like Rubik in this matchup. Historically, you know, picking Rubik into Tide, never a bad thing, but not many players have the skill to be 2 for 2 on the snag.
It's also easier now, right? Because they changed Ravage where the tentacles go out slower, but they go out farther, right? That was a change that happened a few patches ago. So that actually makes it even easier for the Rubik player than it was previously. PYW doing a little bit of scouting here with the support Weaver. Just seeing if they're setting up for this tier 2, and indeed they are. DY and Ori. Oh, they're going to be spotted by the arena, and Ori BKB TP out immediately. Old 11 cancels his TP in, and they just get a kill onto DY and presumably control of this bottom tier 2. Vici Gaming are going to try and trade out, though, and we'll see how Fnatic responds to this. Do they want to give up this damage onto mid tower? Seems like they are content with just a little bit.
That was really nice from DJ there, covering the SF BKB with an immediate silence.
DJ tries to pull some of the creeps off the mid lane and immediately is going to be jumped by Poyoyo with the Aghanim Scepter. That wasn't the full-out ultimate.
That's pretty sick.
Yeah.
This, so far, so really, I think both teams going to be content, right? You just took Outpost bottom on Fnatic. You still have the Aegis for another 20 seconds. And, ooh, maybe a kill on Weaver? Indeed.
Oh, they do. Very nice.
Like, you've lived through what I would have considered the hardest phase of this game. Like, the BKB Aghanim's timing for Vici's course. And, and you've come through unscathed. The 1,000 gold lead, that's not so bad. And you do have your Tiny closing in on his BKB now. It's always nice to be the team hitting the BKB timing second, assuming you haven't like lost total map control, and it's actually Fnatic who have acquired more space.
So BKB 1 on Death, BKB 2 on Chuan. I'm presuming it's coming out now because he looks a little poor. Yep, BKB number 2 is here. So yeah, they're going to hit a huge window here. Blink Dagger trying to be built up by Old 11, but he is going to be found by Raven. This BKB does allow him to split push against the Tiny.
It's a really nice choice in retrospect, because you also wanted some way of cleansing silence. And Lotus is more expensive almost than a BKB, so yeah. Does feel better, plus the plus damage.
Get out of Mars Arena as well. Ori caught before he could get off the BKB. Pops it now. Goes to the Requiem with the BKB on Chuan. Allows him to stay close, but the Invis, the Shadow Blade, allowed him to be able to get away. They didn't have any detection. Now the Ravage are going to be used, and they just blow up the Death Prophet. Turning onto Death now. Death looking to be able to push them away, but they're not going to slow down this march. He is going to be run down. Poyoyo picks up the double off that team fight. A very smooth initiation there from Old 11. Just sets up a great team fight for
but
them.
that's all PYW. Like, as this chaos is forming around the Shadow Fiend, yeah, the fear not necessary, but PYW, he found jabs. Immediately, there comes the Shadow Step from Poyoyo. That's a dead Rubik. Suddenly BKB's fade, and all of a sudden Old 11, yeah, he's ready to rock and roll. If we can run, we can run it back. Beautiful.
Yeah, we can actually,
yeah.
we totally forgot about replays. We got the production.
They get jabs. PYW, like, he saw the Rubik, and he just starts to gun for him. The Haunt's already gone out, so while this is all happening, there's jabs dead, and suddenly BKB's fading, perfect Ravage timing from Old 11, and there's nothing you can do. DJ, maybe he could have silenced there, but as soon as Ravage is activated, that's that.
Yeah.
So...
And the fact that Ori had a Shadow Blade and was able to get away, right? Yeah. That was kind of, it felt pretty bad for Fnatic. The fact they committed so heavily to him.
Can't you just BKB and run out of the arena as well?
Yeah, he did, but he also got away from the Death Prophet and the Ghost.
True.
Because he was pretty low, and then he just goes invis, and it's Chuan's BKB, and Exorcism means nothing at that point.
How did he get healed? Was it just a stick that killed him? I was like, I thought somebody had a mech, but no, he just had a maxed out stick. Okay.
Jabs. This is the life for these two supports, right? They have no natural defense mechanisms. Jabs and DJ, Silencer, Rubik, they're just going to be food for this Spectre all the time. So if they ever show, there's a chance of them getting Shadow Step assassinated, especially now that you've got the Manta on Poyoyo.
Yeah. That's just such a huge item. Of course, your illusions do utilize Desolate, so these lone supports get just absolutely obliterated. And it's also a method of cleansing yourself so that DJ's ultimate is no longer super effective against you. It can be really annoying to play Spectre against Silence because you pop Haunt, but then you silence, you can't actually leap in on anybody.
Yeah.
Will no longer be an issue for him. Next Roche, though, going to be really, I mean, I can't believe 1st to 10 is still up in the air, by the way, 25 minutes in.
9-9, 25 minutes in, 4,000 net worth lead. Pretty close game. between these two, their opener here at the International. How do you feel like new Tiny scales up into late game? Because obviously it's what we've been talking about. It's been played as carry. It feels really good in the mid game, and it still scales well late game. Do you think it's actually good enough to be for them to be able to contest Spectre 45, 50 minutes in?
Definitely, but I think they might have to play a different style of game. Like Tiny is most fearful, I feel, when you're split on the map. Like you kill a tier 3 in like 10 smacks late in the game, and I think that that's something they could utilize here. But the real issue, Dota nowadays feels like, how do you start the fight? Can you kill anybody off? Vici Gaming, you have no trouble hunting Fnatic supports. It's a lot harder for Fnatic to find a kill on either the Weaver or the ET, and they obviously just have insane damage output throughout the fights. Just the Spirit Vessel from PYW, super effective once these BKBs fade on these high HP heroes like Tiny, or heroes that require sustain like Death Prophet as they now smoke forwards. Roshan up in 20 seconds. This could be huge.
They're going to break smoke. Jump in. Old 11 fakes the Ravage there. He just blinked blind. Does get broken. Is going to pop the BKB. Resetting him for a bit. Or he's just going to try and focus down the Death Prophet here. Death Prophet keeping a bit of distance. Will manage to get some exorcism damage onto Ori, and Ori is dead. He committed a little bit too much to that Death Prophet, and Chuan played it pretty nicely.
What timing.
Yeah, that's beautiful. DY tries to enter. Oh, there goes the Ravage. Old 11 is in now. Poyo immediately jumps onto the back line. Jab's going to be first. Chuan and Raven, they're both low. Poyo jumped out actually for a second. Back in. Chuan is going to be finished up. Raven, he's going to be next. Turns around, realizes he's dead. His BKB is going to wear out. Almost killing the Weaver, but it wasn't good enough. Damn, that is the second time now Fnatic have won a team fight, or thought they won a team fight, and then Old 11 still jumps in. They still take a great team fight.
Yeah, Zai, he's always said it. What characteristic do you need to succeed in Dota 2? You need patience. And that was perfect. They have no SF, but it doesn't matter. They have Elder Titan Tide.
Yeah.
That was such a nuts combo. Death dies in the Roche pit. Just unbelievable.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely good stuff, and we should be able to see that one again.
Either way, it just, you go back to live. I don't even know what you're supposed to do there. The Manta as well from Poyo. Like, he just killed jabs in the duration of the Ravage, and then they can chase for more. And they have so much vision thanks to the Spirit, the bugs, the daggers.
Have a taste of that Earth Splitter. DY jabs puts it to use to get a pick off there. Nothing major, but maybe when the Tiny's back, they'll try and
It's
do
actually
something. I don't know.
that's a crazy spell to steal on Rubik because of all the spell amp you get.
Yeah. All right, let's try this again. See if we can get a replay of that last team fight. There it is. The jump in Ravage. Beautiful. Nice fast reaction from Chuan to get the Yule Scepter off, but it didn't matter.
Yeah, like you saw, like 3-man Ravage, 4-man rather. All the bugs come out, and yes, you lost SF, but the key components were gone, right? Like, there was no silence and there was no BKB. So the counter initiation from Fnatic, like, it just isn't possible.
Yeah.
And it doesn't get any easier, unfortunately, for them. Now you have the Hyperstone on Poyo. He's enormous. And Tiny, you know, another really cool, maybe this is the answer in a lot of ways. You know, you have 30 armor right now, thanks primarily to your ultimate on this this big rock, but Desolate is pure damage.
Yeah. It is really interesting that he's just going for just a Hyperstone by itself. They pop the global, but Ori just BKB TP's out and is safe. So he's just going Hyperstone just for the attack speed of getting more Desolate hits in, so he can just blow up these supports. And then he's going to go a BKB, which should be timed well around his Aegis expiring. So there's going to be no moment of weakness where Fnatic could potentially take the game back. And then Fnatic, at this point in time, looks like they really need a bit of a miracle here as they're down 9,000 net worth. I don't know what that means. And win probability, 91% to the favor of Vici Gaming.
That's going to be tough, considering as well, Vici Gaming, they were actually the ones that knocked Miracle out of the direct slot to TI. When they beat Virtus Pro in the lower bracket of the Any-Major, they meant they guaranteed they were in. And to get to TI, Nigma would have had to finish top 3. They didn't.
Yep.
And Miracle, of course, will not play at this year's International. He's not here, but smoke out. DD pop. They'd love to use it. Silver Edge available as well.
Okay, so this is the point where you play a little bit more of a split pushing game, right? Raven cutting a wave. That's all he's doing here. The rest of Vici Gaming did smoke to kind of meet Poyoyo as he goes to push out bottom lane. They have double damage on Ori as well. So anybody they ran into, they would happily take that fight. But no such luck. Fnatic are pretty well holed up inside of their base. It's just DJ who's gonna... it's not usually the support silencer that goes and cuts a wave, but I guess he's the most expendable man at this point.
I love the itemization so far from this lineup. Not going for the Aghanims on Weaver, just a Lotus to help with the silences. The early Shivas after BKB on ult 11. When do you see BKB on Tide? But it makes so much sense in this game. And the Shivas just for the regen limitation as well. Combined with the Vessel, you know, this Death Prophet, only 2,000 health. The Paladin Sword does not feel that durable, especially since you're just getting burst down in these big ultimates. 11k gold lead already for Vici, even with just one extra kill on the board.
DJ just pushing in waves from the trees with his Veil, Arcane Curse, and level 10 talent, but unfortunately it's just small little things that Fnatic can do because it doesn't feel like they can take a full 5-man team fight. While they still have the Aegis intact, the Shadow Step allows them to be able to jump on a jabs here at the top lane. Now, they still have the Aegis, so Fnatic are very cautious at taking a team fight or trying to kill this Spectre. They just give up jabs and leave it at that.
That's the right move. Yeah, even if you're able to kill Spectre, he did it at the right timing. 30 seconds to go. So you really want to commit. You're going to take so much damage from Dispersion, and then he's going to just respawn as the rest of his team arrives.
And he's got the BKB now, and that's why he is just jumping every chance he gets now. Jumped mid, immediately came back, and will be able to fight top. If Old 11 can catch them with the Gush and the Shiva, is certainly going to be able to slowing down Raven a lot. They do not have a piercing disable to be able to catch that time.
Really nice play. Vici, we had said it was 11, now it's 13, just exercising control over the map. Scotty going to be the next choice for the Spectre. He really just has a casual Hyperstone. Boss move. Taking the Outpost. Shrine. Wait, Outpost. It's Outpost.
Yes.
I knew that.
Shrines were
they were moved
last TI.
Yeah, 2019.
Juan caught outside of the base, maybe forced to use his BKB here, which even that, just using BKB feels really bad for Fnatic, as that's now going to be on cooldown for 65 seconds. Just means Vici Gaming are going to be fearless in taking any fights. You can see what they're doing. They're slowly corralling Fnatic deeper and deeper inside their base. This bottom lane is getting pushed farther and farther in. Soon there's going to be nowhere for Fnatic to go.
Yep, and I love that, you know, the Satanic now complete on Ori, so more and more methods of removing the global silence. And so, you know, DJ, his net worth is not exactly ideal, so his main purpose is that big ulti, a 5.25 second silence. Nobody's really going to have to sit through it, but the one thing I really like watching Vici do is you notice that they're always playing enemy side of the map. The closer you can be to the enemy base, the more mobile you are, the easier it is for you to cut waves. And this is the first time we've actually seen them cover a wave on their side of the river. And they've done a really nice job of just forcing Fnatic into their base and exploiting their advantage to gain more net worth. And now that Roche could be spawning shortly, they're going to resume circling the pit as Fnatic, I think, prepare to head out.
I was about to say, because they were doing a great job of keeping top and mid very pushed in, but as you said, they're going to start playing a little bit more farther back on the map and playing more towards Roshan. And potentially going back in to catch somebody out from Fnatic, making sure there's no vision. You can see the map very dark for Fnatic. They're just going to go for kind of a blind smoke up here, see if they can reclaim their triangle. Even scanning for it, because again, you could see their map is just super dark. All they see right now, okay, the SF is top, meaning they're probably somewhere in our jungle.
It's the right move, but they need to get some kind of vision up. You can see, look at the strategy from Vici. A trio of wards all controlling this top part of the map, and Fnatic are beelining for it. So you're gonna have to be very cautious. I like this move. Cut the mid wave, try and bait into your vision. That's the play.
Yeah.
They do get the smoke out.
Got these nice wards, and they are going to be breaking upon it. The Ravage going out, not really catching a whole lot. The BKB successfully getting away. It's just DJ who's going to die. BKB TP out for one. Jabs, he'll be able to get away as well. So all in all, I mean, they lost their silencer for a Ravage. I feel like that's the best you can hope for if you're Fnatic.
Yeah, I have to agree.
I don't know if that means they can actually take a team fight, but
it's something.
it's okay. It's something.
It's just so
You didn't
hard.
lose the game yet.
Yeah, Fnatic have not played a bad game by any means.
No, I don't
It's
think
just
so.
that one fight in Roche, right? You
Yeah.
give the Aegis away to the Spectre, and suddenly there's just no good moves. It feels like you're playing into this massive team fight, and Poyoyo has all this global mobility. Yeah, no haunts, but the Aghanims is ready.
I don't know how many times you played against this Aghanim's Spectre, Kyle. It is suffering when you're
Yes.
behind because you can't split push. Like normally the play is that you're at least able to split push, but Shadow Step is always up, so you can't actually do anything to gain yourself some sort of movement advantage. Locking him in, trying to go for the stomp. Self-Yules into no BKB.
Oh.
Didn't have it yet. It was on cooldown for another 3 seconds, and now Fnatic, they've lost their Death Prophet, and they cannot take this team fight anymore. DG is going to die again. Raven trying to make his way back. They're actually going to be able to go back in with the Soul Earth Splitter. So much damage onto Old 11 and Poyoyo, but it's not enough. They've run out, and now they may be losing more heroes. His Death broken, so much damage from that SF. Dagger slow, PYW did not commit for that kill, but Old 11 and, well, actually Poyoyo is the one who gets it. Old 11 dies trying to get it.
Nice plays. I actually really respect that from Jabs. Captain of the squad. They're down 2 heroes, but they make this crazy call to reinitiate with the stolen Earth Splitter.
Yeah.
They almost turn things around, but that's the kind of play you have to make in this spot. But
It's a recognition of where the game's at, right? 98% win probability for currently for Vici Gaming. You have to make some pretty big Hail Marys,
Yeah.
right? And it looked pretty sick. Honestly, if they had, a little bit more gas, maybe they could have killed someone.
I actually think, so DY was level 17 when he had used it, so he only got level 2 Earth Splitter. If it was level 3,
oh yeah,
then suddenly the Tidehunter of Old 11 would have just 100% died, and maybe things could be a bit different. But you can see the power of the Ravage is that even if you get just BKBs, because the Spectre Aghanim's cooldown is so limited, they can just go right back in before those BKBs come back up.
yeah.
And there's plenty of disable on the side of Vici. Like, they will find kills. Wow, that's fast. They're going to try for
Yeah,
it.
it dies so quickly, and Fnatic is just not going to be there in time. Just to make sure the Spectre ultimate does go out, you give the Aegis over to SF Cheese for Spectre, and what was the third item? I didn't see it. See, we got a shard on Weaver.
Ah, that's nice. Yeah.
Oh, refresher.
That's,
Refresher shard for Shadow Fiend.
yeah,
That
but
was
the Weaver shard's actually sick in this game. Not for the Geminate spreading, but because Swarm now will latch and reveal invisible units, Glimmer
Yeah.
Capes suddenly got nerfed.
Telekinesis into the combo, but the Ravage interference. Old 11 was ready for it,
The
and
refresher.
this is Fnatic trying to go for the last Hail Mary, but it is blocked down immediately by Vici Gaming, and they should be able to quickly dismantle the rest of Fnatic. Very nicely played by Vici Gaming. It just, I feel like they've been so disciplined. The fact that they were even sitting behind the SF in that situation says a lot about how controlled they were
Yeah.
playing this game.
And it's just, man, the itemization is just terrifying. Solar Crest, AC, Shiva's Refresher Shard on the Tide. Like, there's just so many auras, a Moon Shard complete on Poyo. Like, they're just too damn strong. Even with the Witchbane now as well, so he has the self-cleanse to further make DJ's life miserable. They're just nailing these T4s.
Last hold here for Fnatic, and it's not going to be with a full 5 either. Raven is going to be Kava. The second Ravage coming out from Old 11. They gave him the Refresher Shard to ensure that they would have one last good team fight before they finish off the throne. Earthsplitter's going to make sure Raven can't even get outside of his fountain and may die there if he doesn't keep retreating. Poyoyo going to focus on the objectives here, and we should be looking at a GG unless Vici Gaming end up running into the fountain entirely.
It's just too much damage.
DJ gets like 2-shot. Raven gets on top of the Weaver, but you can see he can't even 100-0 him, and that's just going to be it. He gets obliterated by the damage of Ori. And that is going to be it for game number 1. As you said, like a pretty close game, pretty even throughout most of it. Don't feel like Fnatic played poorly. I'm not a big fan of their draft so much. Again, it felt like the Silencer didn't do a whole lot for them.
Yeah, it just was kind of game planned against by Vici. It felt like, it didn't really look like they were ever under pressure. Maybe they lose the first T2, but it just didn't really seem to matter. And that's the Vici we expected to see, right? Mm-hmm. Very solid. You understand the lineup from start to finish, what they're trying to do. They played clean. What was the score? 9-9 at a point?
Yes.
It closes at 27-12. Like, that is Vici in a nutshell.
Yeah. Pretty crazy stuff. I was just looking at some numbers. What do we had? 23,000 damage by Ori's SF. That's pretty good. I feel like the fact that they could rely on both Ori and Poyoyo to be able to like carry the later parts of this game, that's Vici Gaming. For me, anyway, I feel like that's just them. That they will always draft in a way to be able to outscale their opponents, but they're still going to be taking 5-man team fights against you. Yeah,
I think the BKB timings were pretty critical.
Yeah.
Like, they were actually the ones that had made that first big aggressive move as 5 when they had the BKB Tide, BKB SF, Aghanims on Spectre. So their actual power spike was earlier, and it made it really difficult for Fnatic to utilize theirs, because the BKBs come up later.
Yeah.
Now, all of a sudden, every team fight you're going to take, there's an easy just cancel button from Vici. Just pop BKB, run away, use Fear if necessary. And we saw just the patience of Old 11. Again, like, every single Ravage is coming, that, like, re-engage portion of the team fight. Not even really bothering to do anything on the BKB pop. So, just in general, really nice play. Well done by Fnatic, but, like, this is TI. You know what I mean? You can't just be good. You got to be great if you want some wins.
All right, well, we'll see whether or not Fnatic can do better for going into game number 2. We're going to take a short break. Be right back. Welcome back, everybody. Vici Gaming versus Fnatic Game 2, where Vici Gaming did manage to take Game 1, but it was relatively even, I would say, for the first 15, 20 minutes. But ultimately, Vici Gaming and their propensity to be able to draft late game and scale just, always seems to pull out for them.
Indeed it does.
Indeed. Indeed it does.
I just think maybe Death Prophet's something to rethink. I know Fnatic and Trend are really good, they enjoy that hero. Sorry, I forgot to take my,
I know.
thing
I
off.
was
Like,
laughing
damn it.
at you.
I had one job.
Kyle's got some extra bling on today.
Yeah. But,
This lanyard that we're supposed to wear around all times
Yes.
to make sure everyone is, they are who they are and
yes.
they are where they're supposed to be.
They actually said I didn't need to wear
Kyle's
it.
just demonstrating that he's supposed to be on broadcast,
you're
which
not
a lot of
supposed to
people,
show the badge.
a lot of people question. They're like, "Is he supposed to be here?" But oh, he's got a badge and everything to be able to back it up.
Had to pay extra for this one.
All right. Well, our draft is about to go underway, so we
Yes.
can go ahead and check out some of what Fnatic and Vici Gaming got going on here.
You're of the opinion, of course, casters don't even need to be on camera. We should just we could just come in, 4 or 5 picks in. Hey, what's up, guys? How's everybody doing?
I mean, I wouldn't. I'm not going to go that far.
That's what you said earlier today.
I say that yes
10
for
seconds
group stage.
remaining.
Yeah, of course not. Group
Yeah,
stage.
but for playoffs,
5
yeah, I
seconds
want to be on
remaining.
camera.
Gaming's
I don't want to be like like traditional sports that you don't see the commentators hardly at all. So that would make me a little sad
Indeed.
because
What would be the point of getting suited up? Huh.
fame grubbing.
Well, I got told yesterday.
Yeah.
I was hanging out with Sumail, Insania, and Effie.
Yeah.
And they all said that I have a
10
very
seconds
nice
remaining.
side profile. They're like,
5
What?
seconds
I
remaining.
thought you were about to transition into you heard them say something about Fnatic or Vici Gaming, but instead it's about you.
we're going to get to the draft cap, but it's just started. But yeah, they say, dead on. It's like, meh. But from the side, I'm a very attractive young man. That's what they told me. And they promised that they were telling the truth. So shout out to the 3 of you guys. Big fans. My boy Sumail, of course, demonstrating that he is certainly back. And if it is not for Ame, I actually think he'd be the undisputed best player in the world. But we're getting ahead of
None
ourselves
of those
here.
are none of those are the players in this game, Kyle.
I know. We're transitioning into the players in this game. Notably,
Yeah.
I want to say Ori, probably,
Fnatic's
I think,
turn to bat.
you think about Vici Gaming. Will they be able to bust through the ceiling, finishing at top 3, maybe make a final? I think it's going to rest on his shoulders. Can he elevate his game, and can he look like the best player in China? Because right now,
10 seconds
I feel like
remaining.
it's almost undisputed that Ame is just like on some next level.
5
I've been hearing a
seconds
lot
remaining.
of mutterings about
Vici
Faith Beyond as
Gaming's
well
turn to
as
bat.
being certainly back. And on the side of Fnatic, a lot of the criticisms of the roster when they first put Jabs and DJ together was, these are both 4-position players.
Yep.
And
Yep.
DJ,
10 seconds
long thought of
remaining.
as like one of the best 4s in the world. He's playing a 5 silencer
5
that last
seconds
game, and
remaining. Fnatic's turn
I
to
felt like
bat.
he really did all he could. At a certain point, like, your hero is just doesn't do anything. So I'd love to see Fnatic try and set up their supports to succeed.
Yeah, it is really interesting that they've maintained this partnership for the last, at this point, 3 years.
10
right? I think
seconds remaining.
This has been going on. I have to imagine this is something
Turn
that
to ban.
DJ himself must be happy with. Like, he must really want to be able to be a leading voice, and he feels like he can do that better from the 5 position or something. Because yeah, I mean, this guy was. We watched him for years and years and years,
Turn
right?
to
Going all
ban.
the way back when he started off in Korea.
Yeah, he's been around. It's wild. It's the same when I look at Insania. It's like I always think of him as this like little brother, really young 20s player. He's like 27.
10 seconds.
DJ.
remaining.
Is he really? 27?
Yeah. We're all so
Wow.
damn old, man. All these guys that we're
5
watching even.
seconds.
Yeah, when you
remaining.
first met Insania, how old was he?
I think 16 or 17.
Yeah.
Yeah. First time we casted together, I think I was
Yeah.
20, and you might have over what, 28, 29?
I am about to be 31.
Oh, I thought you were 36.
Can't even pull that on me, Kyle. I look very young for my age. Thank you.
Did you know who won't be young
Vici
for his age in this
Gaming's
game?
turn to
Whatever
ban.
poor soul gets stuck playing Monkey King against Venomancer, that is an incredibly unpleasant experience, especially if you find yourself laned up against him, unless you can get real far ahead. But I'm a big fan of the Storm early pick.
Well, this is probably a support Monkey King, right?
Yeah,
That's,
I would
assume
that's
so.
what I'm
Seconds remaining.
presuming anyway. So you can still swap your support around to,
5
you know, you
seconds
just
remaining.
swap supports based off of where you think the Venomancer is
And
going.
How does Mage Slayer affect Veno? So if you're debuffed and you pop ulti, the whole ult does reduce damage.
Yeah, I
correct?
believe so.
Okay.
It doesn't. I don't think it it doesn't magically like he popped ultimate and then you hit him with Mage Slayer. I don't believe that'll just like all of a sudden slow down some of the damage. So
Yeah, that'll be pretty key. And you always need to have.
we should probably explain what we're talking about because I know a lot of people are maybe tuning in. You guys haven't been watching Dota all year round, right? And Monkey King. Maybe if you watched like 2 or 3 years ago when it first came out, like Bobica very famously was playing support Monkey King. That support Monkey King as a
Vici
4 position
Gaming's
is kind
turn
of
to
back.
pick.
And the current build is Mage Slayer, which is this item that
Fnatic's
reduces
turn to pick.
enemies' spell damage.
Yeah, and very effective, obviously, against heroes like Veno, even like Tiny.
Yeah.
And you combine that, though. So, Quap against Storm, I have lost as the Storm in this matchup many times, but it is still
10
a nice hero to
seconds
have
remaining.
against something like a Veno. The ward spam makes it incredibly difficult to play any
5
kind of Blink
seconds
Dagger
remaining.
initiator, so you need to have something that has reach, just based around their kit naturally. So Monkey kind of supplies that as well, but you can be a little dangerous, zip through, cut trees, suddenly Monkey falls to the ground stunned. That's also
Some
something I've
potential
done.
anti-synergy that we have to keep our eye on. Is that what you're saying?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, but a big fan of this Quap hero. I think Puck getting nerfed pretty much into the ground has helped her resurgence.
I believe I
strong
put
laner.
Quap as my highest win rate hero for
That's
TI,
a
which
bad guess.
I think it was a bad guess considering the fact we're already seeing so many Quaps.
Yeah.
Usually the play is you want a hero that is low key that only gets picked 5 or 6 or 7 times and has 100% win rate or something close to it.
Yeah, no, Queen of
10
Pain,
seconds
it's just,
remaining.
I think, too early.
Vici
Although,
Gaming's turn to pick.
one point, though, we saw Alliance do this. You can always play it as a 4.
Yeah.
They
Not
did
sure
lose,
if
though.
I totally believe that, but
Either way, I like the Bane Luna. Luna, especially with no Dusa, which is one of the Fnatic specials,
10 seconds
you need
remaining.
something that has the ability to clear Ancients.
5
I
seconds
probably would have
remaining.
preferred something like a Terrorblade here, just because I think Luna can have a lot of trouble clearing wards, whereas Illusion heroes are, I think, just better suited to dealing with Veno, since you risk nothing, shove lanes even into wards, no big deal. We shall see how it plays out, because even into a Quap, like, you need the early BKB. Oh, that's terrifying.
there it is.
Like this VG lineup is
Ooh.
already spooky. Bane, Monkey, you really just don't do anything to
You
Lycan.
do nothing to Lycan, yeah.
I mean, you've spent a lot of time with a man named William Lee. What
10
does he always
seconds
tell you?
remaining.
Beats Storm. Well, he says there's a lot of
5
things that beat
seconds
Storm. He picks it
remaining.
all the time, but he thinks it's terrible, always needs buffs. But
He says one or two things, right? Obviously, stuns is always the
Vici
go-to, but the other
Gaming's
one that
turn to
is
ban.
probably underrated is making it so Storm Spirit just can't actually pop somebody.
yeah,
Right? He wants to be able to zip in,
Turn to ban.
100 to 0 somebody, zip back out.
yeah, and Death Ball, like push,
Yeah.
sustain. What do you do if you jump into this Vici lineup, especially if there's no Orchid online?
So this is looking like Veno. What are we looking at here? Is this
10
Veno support?
seconds remaining.
It could be
Because I feel like I thought this was like in 3 and Tiny 1.
5
based on the
seconds
last
remaining.
draft. I think if you think about the archetype of the Vici Gaming role
Vici
setup,
Gaming's
Okay.
a
turn
Veno
to
4
ban.
makes sense. Kind of similar to the Weaver in the
Just
way
a
that
scouting support
Yeah.
that gets information for you. Okay.
really strong, I would imagine, with Lycan,
Okay.
perhaps. But we shall see. I'm not quite sure. It could also be a Quap for the same
10
reason.
seconds remaining.
And they put the Veno.
Could be Tiny 4, Veno 3,
5
mid quap,
seconds
safe lane
remaining.
Lycan.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if that's like. I'm pretty sure there's an old 11. Like Lycan is an off lane hero now.
Yeah, I
because
think so too.
end of the day, your farm
Fnatic's
is
turn
the
to
same
pick.
at 6 minutes when you have HOD, and your item build is always the same.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's more of this complementary carry than the hero you actually want.
So have
as
you
your
ever
win
played up
condition.
against an Echo Saber Deso Lycan?
That's true.
It's scary. It's scary. I don't know if that build's credible,
10
but I will just
seconds
say it's
remaining.
scary.
The thing about it is that just, of all the heroes that can utilize the
5 seconds
offlane
remaining.
Lycan build, Lycan is the best. In terms
Yeah,
of
yeah.
creep control and this minion push. A
Wait,
lot
I'm
of
sorry.
heroes can buy
Say,
Echo
say,
Saber.
say that again. Say that again.
I don't remember what I said. I
You
never
said
looked back.
the best hero to utilize the offlane Lycan build is Lycan.
I've been hanging out with Synderen for 3 days, man. I
Vici
it rubs off on you.
But you're saying the best hero to utilize the Helma Dominator, Helma
Yeah.
Overlord build. Is
Exactly.
Lycan. Okay.
Exactly. And everybody that you can buy Echo Saber on a bunch of carries, and it's going to be just as good.
Night Stalker. That is that's a
10
hero
seconds
that has
remaining.
been on the rise. I think I watched it
5
lose earlier
seconds
today
remaining.
though. But I feel like the last 6 months, Night Stalker's been creeping up,
May
creeping
I
up.
select your
Earthshaker.
heroes?
All right, I really got to see who's picking what here. Okay, PYW and DY are going to be supports. Earthshaker and Venomancer. Okay, you call the call. All according to plan.
Yeah. And one thing will be the 5 Veno. So that was maybe a little surprising, but it does make sense if we assume this is a double melee offlane. That's that's the dream for Venomancer, right? And especially against the Night Stalker, for the early period, you're going to be very successful at harass, but got to be cautious. Like, this Veno hero is so slow. If Jabs gets enough stacks up to proc Jingu, and Death just rolls up with a Void, like, Veno just dies. So they will have to be careful.
Yeah. This certainly looks like a match that is going to be heavily based on the laning phase, right? Because we got Quap versus Storm Spirit mid, where if this Storm Spirit doesn't get dumpstered mid lane, he can actually have a really good time killing Venomancer and Earthshaker a lot in this game. Night Stalker is naturally a snowball hero. Lycan, very snowball hero.
Very shiny game as well. Double Arcana on Vici. Triple Golden Immortal on Fnatic. You can even see them glistening in the background.
They're rich.
Look at that. Vici, really same concept. Just a very balanced draft, right? You look at it and you just think, yeah, I dig it. This is all
okay.
stuff we've seen before.
You're going to have to explain that because they don't necessarily have a lineup that is normal, right? For position, like the support Earthshaker and support Venomancer. We've already talked about how both of these heroes have traditionally been run as core, right? Earthshaker lately has been played more as an offlaner. Venomancer is typically core, usually offlane. So what do you mean when you say this is a very balanced draft?
Well, when you think of Quap, you don't really provide any tower pressure. So having a hero like Lycan, like Lone Druid makes a lot of sense. And then you have Tiny, who really wants like this other playmaker in the mid lane. You have an Earthshaker to play with your Quap. This is legitimately... I was eliminated from TI5 playing Storm against Quap Earthshaker.
30
Like, this has
seconds to battle.
been something that people have utilized for some time because Shaker blocks the bottom lane, so he secures this solo XP safely for his Lycan. He'll have no items, but he's going to farm in front of his tower. And then an Earthshaker just off-map forces Xuen to play incredibly conservative as the Storm. You're free to go check bottom room, which means Quap can control top. Like, it just flows very well. And then you have a Veno
The battle
against with a
begins.
Tiny. Like, that's just, God forbid you get a toss back onto the Veno, Gale, boom, tower range. That's a kill, no matter what.
That was pretty interesting. Fnatic had double nighttime vision heroes. They had Night Stalker and Luna. So that is also a very small bit of synergy that they have together, is that Eclipse actually does turn it into night. So Night Stalker will get some benefit out of that every once in a while. But they were both utilizing their nighttime vision to be able to control the ward game in mid, which Vici Gaming did not buy into. They never placed a mid ward that was scouted out by the Night Stalker or Luna, so it didn't ultimately result in anything big, but...
Yeah. That was really well done, and I love that. I mean, this is what I mean from Vici. It just boots first Shaker, no regen. You block the first wave, it creates a double wave, and you pull the second. So he's going to block easy camp, he's going to drag this over to his Lycan, and there's really, you know, it's not as if Fnatic are playing this poorly, but there's just what can you do? He blocks both camps. I love it. Like, what can you do here as Jabs? Yeah, you would dumpster this lane if they were playing the lane, if they were playing Dota against you, but no, this is... just max mechanic abuse.
The offlane has always been the lane where you're going to have the most lane mechanic abuse possible, just to be able to try and make bad lanes go better. And Vici Gaming doing that very nicely here. Top lane, I'm not sure if it actually did get pulled. The lane is pretty far back, so I kind of assume so. This one's going to be a little bit more straightforward, though, right? DJ. Just playing games here with DY, a hero that usually dominates playing 1v1 against supports. I don't know how Bane does level 1 and 2 against Venomancer. I imagine later on, once you get Brain Sap level 2, you really start winning that matchup, but it might be level 1 Venomancer is somehow stronger.
Well, it's just that the trading is going to be Veno favored. Like, Bane likes to be able to just smack people and always win the health war, but Veno can just hit you, back away real quick. Even Bane getting 2 attacks off, that's still going to benefit the Veno.
Yeah.
And the danger is that because there's a Tiny, if you tank too much damage, then you're hit with a Gale, Poyo runs over, and you're actually just dead as the Bane.
Old 11. Nice little escape. We also saw Chuen kind of pull over. Does get Fisher blocked this time around, but he realizes... earlier, when he was in danger in the creep wave pushing over, he pulled it to the left of the lane so he wouldn't get Fisher blocked. But now that the creep wave is in his advantage, it's pushing into Ori, he doesn't mind getting Fisher blocked because he'll just man-fight the quad.
Yeah, he's doing quite well, though, really, under the circumstances. Like, this is not a pleasant lane. The personal experience with, like, you are very scared. But he's doing an admirable job thus far. It does.
They're going to jump. Rotation coming out from Jabs, and they actually jump onto Poyo here. They're going to be able to get these stacks up, but he does not have Boundless Strike, so no big nuke or stun coming out. But the double melee lane is going to be forced back, and they're going to switch things up, put the Bane back to bottom. They're just going to follow this Venomancer around, because as you said, they do not want to have the Venomancer matchup against double melee heroes.
Indeed, and really interesting that so Shaker secures this bottom lane for Old 11, and then they move DY down here. So a much better laner. So you kind of get the Lycan to a point where he's formidable. He'll have the Helm of Iron Will arriving now, and then now you bring your Veno. So trading is now very annoying against both the Wolves and the Poison Sting.
Yeah, level 2 Wolves versus level 1 Wolves, there's a massive difference.
Yeah.
Right, level 2 Wolves are actually so much more useful. Level 1 Wolves feels like they're just kind of food that you're going to feed to the lane. So, yeah, this is pretty interesting. I like that.
And Tiny, you know, it's getting closer to nighttime, so what happens to the Veno? Well, he feeds. However, an Earthshake with the Tiny, much more formidable. You can pull the lane back, and you just play more conservatively. So not really trying to get aggressive or harass at all, just trade.
Storm Spirit is just going to start playing jungle. You see Chuen just like, okay, that's enough of that. I don't want to play the lane anymore. Ooh, looks like Jabs got caught for a second there, but you start getting to the point where Quap is just too hard to beat. Didn't go for a 3rd level Shadow Strike, but if he did, that's where you really start dominating Storm Spirit.
Yeah. The lane ward, I think, was more impactful than we gave credit for at the start. You mentioned the nighttime, how they guaranteed that they would have that vision advantage mid lane, it's very helpful for a Storm.
Mm.
We'll be level 6 on Quap now. I don't know if there's going to be time to get a kill or anything off it, though. Storm actually first to 6.
Yeah, that's
very nice.
The fact that Ori's just like 1 deny actually kept him from being able to get level 6 on that creep wave, and maybe he could have rotated, maybe he could have pressured Gwen a little bit better, but not the case.
Oh, and he rewarded for himself, too.
Yeah, did you see what happened? He TP'd and instantly placed the ward, so I'm not even sure if Ori would have been able to click on his inventory fast enough to see that he had a ward.
Yeah.
I think he like shift queued it up.
It's really nice.
6-minute rune, so important for these two, especially for the Quap. If he wants to rotate onto these side lanes, it's going to be haste rune, and that means they're going to be able to keep up with Ori, and they're going to be able to bring him down, especially with the rotation coming in from the other side of DJ. First blood goes to Fnatic.
That is huge. I love that. Controlling the runes against Quap. Like, this is how you shut the hero down. He's got to snowball, and getting the first blood just like cherry on top. Just a haste rune would have been considered a W. And this is the benefit as well of the Fnatic lanes, because they're ahead top, now pressuring Tiny.
Yep, getting some good damage in. The Boundless Strike, turn around and offering him a hand. A bit of a high five, but Fnatic taunting Vici Gaming as they take a pretty big lead now.
Yep.
2,000.
Like this new Lycan, it's similar to how you want to play against a Timbersaw. Like, yeah, you get level 5 max reactive armor, well, just leave your carry to free farm and leave him alone. And that's exactly what the plan is here for Fnatic. So they get kills on both other lanes. Sure, you lose your Bane, but I don't think you mind that at all.
No, certainly not. It does leave me to question. I've just been looking at DY and going, okay, like, what now? You know, because we saw how the supports rotated of Fnatic, and they had a big impact in being able to secure that rune. And my question is, what does this Venomancer support do at this period of time, where he doesn't have the levels of wards to be able to be like a forward position that becomes a core just yet? Like, what do you do in this awkward period of time? Where do you find your levels? Because that's what he needs, right? He needs a lot of levels.
I mean, theoretically, he could start jungling. It's what,
Yeah, but he's only got level 1 wards.
It's a very common strategy in European MMR games, however. If you don't get your role,
you
can pick Venomancer. Level 1, just level 1. Spam wards, camp the Ancients, and I've seen it win more games than lose, which is quite sad, really.
You know, I'm convinced. You remember when Save did Jungle Huskar?
Oh, yeah.
We had that happen during the DPC, and I think the people that I play party queue with hate Save. Absolutely hate him. Because I try Huskar 4 position all the time.
How's that go?
It really doesn't work. I've lost so many games trying to make that work because it's you know, I'm just like, oh, it looks so cool, but
it always works once.
It's
right?
it's fun and
he soloed
experimental.
Roche in that game. Like, now that people know how it works, it's just not the same story anymore.
Yeah, for sure.
But I mean, yeah, credit to Fnatic. You know, they dropped that first game, but I think that they certainly felt confidence either way. Still a little weird for me. I know he's been doing this throughout the year, but you know, I look at DJ playing Bane after Silencer. I'm like, is this Fly? No, it's DJ. Like, it still blows my mind. But
yeah, it's because we're old.
True.
We're old and we remember Vanilla Major.
Yeah, the game-winning Enigma.
Yeah, yeah.
That was still one of the more epic comics. Was that against Vici too? I feel like that might have been. Was that LGD they played against in that match?
Oh, I don't remember. I have a bad memory for Dota games.
Yeah, that was literally 5 years ago, so I think you can be forgiven on that. HOD is coming out to Old 11 though, so this will be a significantly more useful Lycan moving forwards. But see how this plays out. Rune control has just been excellent thus far from Fnatic, and I love the Soul Ring build as well on the Storm. I think this is the way you want to do it. I've seen Sumail do it when he plays Storm. And yeah, DY is just taking jungle. I dig it.
Okay. It's going to be a little slow with level 1 wards, but bit by bit, you'll get there. Rune is Bottom lane, Arcane Rune for Ori's Quap. That is very nice for him. If DJ is not careful, he may fall victim to this, as they're actually going to go for DY here, and Ori says, see you later, bud. We got the farm we wanted, and Old 11 is taking bottom, so there's no need for us to try and fight back. Death actually did pop Dark
Just
Ascension.
to push top. Like,
Just
he
to do damage.
Yeah. I don't mind that, to be honest. It's better than just holding it, and it's giving them the ability to potentially trade towers. Although, yeah, Old 11 a little bit faster as a Lycan.
I especially, I'm okay with it because he'll have it back up when daytimes.
Yeah.
So it's not like there's this huge egregious weakness. They have to be careful for 30 seconds, but then they're going to have it back up. They'll be able to turn it nighttime if a fight should arise.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
Good point, man. Old 11 Max Wolves has the Ghost. This is a very scary wolf all of a sudden. However, the sacrificial lamb in this game so far is Poyo. He is still not level 6. We
Yeah,
are
what's
9
going
minutes
on
in.
with it?
The top lane was just was a disaster. After the death, he TP'd mid, filled bottles, stuck it out there for a bit. But I think you were on point. Like, the Venomancer doesn't seem to have a purpose in this game. Your other support, a Shaker for PYW, is also quite passive. And, you know, I think they counted on Ori being able to control tempo a bit, but he just did not have the lane.
Look at him.
Is under attack.
He just pulls the creep wave. He's like, I know what you guys want. You want my mid tower. And sure, you can take it with wolves and stuff like that, but I'm still going to make it as difficult for you as possible. That is a boundless strike, a bold one. Jabs immediately dies afterwards. As all of Vici Gaming is around mid lane right now. They really want this mid tower. They've prioritized this objective a lot in the past, and it seems like they are continuing with this strategy here at TI10.
Yeah, it's the right move. This is going to open up the jungle now for the Lycan Veno to try and exert some more map control. Really just trying to win in the EV off the map. Like, theoretically, Vici Gaming can out-farm if they can control more areas. This makes it a lot more difficult for the Luna and Storm to find space. Lycan ult popped. They get nothing out of it, though. Nice TP.
That's not great.
Radiant are scanning.
Now the immediate smoke.
Yeah, if they catch Poyo here, though, I'm not... Okay, they do have the Storm Surge they could zip in. If they catch Poyo in a decent position, they drop the ward to be able to get vision too, and they still don't catch him. That feels really bad. That's a second difference, right? They catch him in the open area right here. They sleep him. Storm can zip over. They can probably 100 to 0 him.
Yep. DJ really wanted to use grip. That would have been the dream usage.
Yeah.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Pop it away. Jabs getting some information here. They're going to still try and go on Poyo, even though they know that it's not the same anymore. Death does manage to get the kill on PYW in top lane.
I really like that, though, from Fnatic. Like, that go bottom, like, it's the feint, right? Like a
Yeah.
boxer. You throw the jab so that they don't see the hook coming, and they just go top. Now slow down the Shaker blink. And it's just, you know, it's another usage of the Dark Ascension, sure, but you actually really want to be using it off cooldown. Just because if 50 bonus damage, that's significant. You're going to farm a lot faster. You got the kill, and there's still a Bane now who's had some time to de-ward a little bit. Still has grip, so you're trying to control enemy jungle because Vici Gaming are certainly going to go after yours. Very scary for the Storm, though. Is there an Orchid up?
Storm
No.
taking the hard farm. Just catching what he can bottom lane. Does have a TP. But he's going to have to zip TP far enough away from Poyo. Not a problem. And as you said, the Orchid's still not up for Ori. They're going to go PYW again. DJ spots him. Nightmare first. They do not have any sort of darkness. They could try and go for the Fiend's Grip and see if they can kill him here, and they will.
Yeah. I like that. Maybe you could have saved it, but I think it just get the guaranteed kill.
Yeah. Still at 1,400 gold for this Earthshaker. Would have had it pretty quickly, considering the timing, but now actually dying twice is going to delay that pretty significantly. We probably won't see Blink Dagger till 16, 17 minutes in.
And that's a big issue for Vici, because their Quap is behind, their Tiny's behind, neither of their supports can make plays, so they're just farming the map, but slower than the Luna Storm.
Yeah, the fact that they're not able to make any moves on the second daytime, that feels pretty bad. Because this Night Stalker, the Night Stalker build that's currently going around with this Echo Saber, sometimes you go Blink into Overwhelming Blink, sometimes you need a BKB a bit faster. I am also a huge fan of the Shard. I think that Shard is actually very good.
Yeah, I would agree.
But you just need to give this Night Stalker more time. He doesn't do that much in the first nighttime. He's more of a farming offlaner than he used to be.
I'm so silly. Of course it's...
Oh, it's gonna get Lycan. Holy
Yeah,
shit.
duh.
Yeah.
I was like, it just finally clicked, like, because they did pick the Night Stalker into the Lycan.
Yeah.
So yeah, the Shard timing is sick.
You know what's funny is I literally played this Night Stalker versus Lycan. Or no, it was Beastmaster actually. I picked it against Beastmaster.
Yeah.
Or I got counterpicked. But I said, don't worry, guys. I'm going to get a Shard later on and a Blink Dagger, and I'm just going to eat his Ancient every single time.
Yeah.
I'm going to get on top of him, silence him, and eat his Ancient.
And the only
And I was
heroes...
playing with some NA pro, and he was like, that works?
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
As long as it's nighttime.
Exactly. It's actually insane because killing the Ancient is almost impossible. Clinks can't eat it. Doom can with, like, a talent way late in the game.
Yeah.
But yeah, Night Stalker Shard, 20 minutes in, suddenly this huge timing for Vici that he's still working towards just straight up disappears. And it's
Yep.
a 20-second cooldown on the Shard as well, so
Yeah.
Orchid.
And on top of the fact that it just also is a super nice farming mechanism, we'll watch Poyo die. And maybe Ori, okay, he knows. He knows Monkey King's here. He's just trying to figure out which direction he should be going around now. He does have a haste rune, but he's got to be careful of... Ooh!
Oh.
Blinks just before the grab. Jwen, if he managed to get that one, then he's going to get potentially grabbed by the Bane.
Orchid was unfortunately still on cooldown. Otherwise, that's a definite kill. He needed to go for the pull first. Maybe if Jabs waits just a little bit longer, it could be secured, but...
Haste rune, he's going to run out. Death. Can he catch up to him now? Boundless Strike first. And with that Echo Saber hit, he is just dead, I think. Ori really pushed for far too much there. Now they've got a Fiend's Grip on PYW again. He does have the Blink Dagger this time around, who's coming out to him. But still, a third death for PYW. DY is going to get cleaned up here. Jwen is going to be able to jump, but he doesn't have that much mana left. The Night Stalker needs to try and bail him out here. He's coming. But he's trying to body block, but it's not good enough. There's just too many units there.
There's the threat of the Lycan. He's just like, I'm sure he's pinging. Guys, 4 more minutes. I can take care of that for you, no problem. He went to Blink, as you stated. Very good against the Quap Veno as well. But this is looking just very nice for Fnatic. And Raven is enjoying the hell out of this game. 180 CS.
Oh, yeah, I haven't
60
looked
minutes.
at him, honestly.
We haven't seen him. He assisted with the kill top on Earthshaker, but he's just living in this top dire jungle, occasionally rotates to farm Ancients or Ancient stacks. Very happy so far, and I believe closing in on the BKB, no. Yes.
Honestly, Kyle,
Has BKB.
I think Vici Gaming has a very small chance of winning this game. Because
Yeah.
I think a lot of this game was predicated
Yes.
on Old 11 here, and knowing that he's going to get countered so heavily, I honestly feel like they only have like a 20% chance to win this game. If
That might
this
be
keeps
generous, to be quite honest, because I think you're completely right. Look at his inventory. If you remove the HOD, he has a Quelling Blade and a Tango. That's it. That's all he's really providing. It's a Vlad's, theoretically, but the main point is like the Shard on Night Stalker with only a 20-second cooldown means that you just never have a creep. And it's, what, plus 200 gold?
So for
No,
me, it means
250 after the change.
I think they need to get a lot done in these next couple of minutes as Vici Gaming. If they can potentially win this fight, oh, we found the right one! Cut down the tree. PYW, though, immediately getting silence and no ultimate as a result. DY does manage to get off his right in the middle of some units. Death, they're going to toss over Old 11, but it's still not enough. Fortunately, Ori gets the long-range nuke to be able to finish that one up. They do get a Fiend's Grip onto him. Old 11, Avalanche covers him for a bit, but without any boots, he's very slow, and his ultimate was just coming up. Pull back, Fnatic retreating around this tier 2. They might have to give it up, but ultimately not a terrible fight for them.
It would have been much nicer had Jabs been able to get his ulti off. Unfortunately, dies beforehand, but really just both teams. Like, I'm impressed with this series so far. Didn't really feel like there was a close one in our opening set. You know, all 4 were somewhat one-sided. All 4 were 2-0s, but
Yeah.
we run this fight back. Yeah, good initiation. They found the key target. Shaker dies. I think Death makes a mistake here. If he runs right, I think he could potentially still live, but he runs through everything. He's tossed on. Quap ulti finishes. Like, he's just running through Veno wards. It's so tough to play the hero against Veno.
Yeah, and as we head back into the game here, we did have just PYW dying again. They almost lost DY as well. It was just kind of a small poke from Fnatic, nothing major, because they don't really need to do a whole lot, right? Like, they are still totally free farming on Raven. They've got this well-timed BKB that he used on the last team fight. He's going to go for Scotty next, and give it another minute, and they'll have the counter to Lycan. So,
Do you go? Is that what you want? Into Tiny. Okay, I can see it.
got off the shapeshift just before that silence. And he might actually be able to do something here. He has no mana. If only his rest of his team was like ready to pounce, this I think would be a pretty good fight for Vici Gaming. But Fnatic just playing around each other. Jabs, what you doing? He's got a Diffuser Blade. He didn't actually go for the Mage Slayer build. Very interesting.
I mean, it is quite nice against Venom.
He's going to jump onto him. He's going to inhibit him.
Oh, he had blinked.
Pop the ultimate. Yeah, he blinks, so he's going to be slowed down. And he just got burned out, but there goes the wand in time to be able to bail him out. Not a bad attempt there from Jabs. It would have been insanely good if he could have just soloed the enemy mid laner.
That's a bold play, but wow, just looking around. The thing is, Shard is coming. Like, it is the next item up, 10 seconds away.
Whew, Fnatic win probability 86%. We weren't wrong.
Yeah,
Kyle.
you were about. Hey, I don't blame it. I look at the Vici lineup and just think you need to outplay. You need some kind of sick initiation. Somebody's got to die right at the start. Blink Tiny, Blink Shaker, and obviously the Blink Orchid on Quap. So find a kill immediately, probably onto the Storm, who does not have BKB yet. But there will still be problems with the Luna, and there's the Shard. It's here right away. He even saved the gold for it. Good luck, Old 11.
Dire are scanning.
They're going to smoke up. They do have some vision up here where they are currently smoked, so the smoke's going to break on each other. Raven actually spot. They managed to get that mini stun, almost catching Ori inside of that silence from Death. They're going to look to be able to cut up the rest of Vici Gaming here. They actually smoke to try and hide themselves away here. Old 11, he's going to pop his ultimate and turn around and fight whoever he sees. That's going to be Jabs first, spots him. Poyo comes in, but Raven immediately popping his BKB. They do not want to fight into this Luna up there, Vici Gaming. So Jabs ends up going down. They turn around and actually should be able to blow up PYW pretty easily. The two supports go down. Old 11, his shapeshift's going to run out here. In fact, it doesn't even matter if his shapeshift runs out. The feeds grip held him in, but he actually got away. Thanks to the avalanche of Poyo. Now with no BKB and Orchid, they're blowing him off the Sonic wave. Vici Gaming actually win that fight. They didn't even need the buyback of PYW. I think they just straight up out-executed Fnatic in that fight. What? How did that happen?
I honestly don't know, but you want to know something absolutely nuts? They did that without an HOD creep on Old 11. Like, he legitimately just didn't have one. It's like, oh, you want to eat this? No worries. I'm just not going to use one. So you could see Death even was like a little lost. He was looking for what he wanted to eat from the Lega, but there was nothing there to do so. Maybe a bit of an early BKB from Raven. Also didn't pop the ultimate. And they just reinitiate. I mean, you know, shout out Poyo. That was pretty much all him. Like, a 3-man combo, interrupts the grip.
Yeah.
And Lycan survives somehow, but did his job, which was run in and tank all the damage and spells.
Yeah. 11's going to go AC next. For him, BKB soon for Twins, so that may make things a little bit better for Storm Sphere. They also got a Van Brace if he wants that. So they're going to look for that triple BKB timing, but similar for Vici Gaming, they now have a BKB on Ori. And BKB is going to be up next for Poyo, so. And, you know, I always think about this sometimes. It's like, somebody watches Dota for the first time, they're like, this BKB item, it must be really good. A lot of people buy that.
It's such a part of Dota, though. Like,
Yeah.
all like heroes are balanced around BKB.
Yeah.
You know, abilities that What was the one? I can't think of a great example.
Oh,
but
Jabs, you're dead. Sorry, buddy.
He's totally fine.
Oh,
No.
he actually may be fine. You're right.
Yeah,
Simple TP away.
carry the TP. We've learned that at TI-10, the importance of TP.
Yes. It's very important for every team to have TP. Not just some of them, Kyle. All of them. It's only fair. PYW, go!
Whoa.
Just jumps in, immediately Echo Slams, but a silence covering it. Death does allow Raven to be able to get off his BKB ultimate. He is a little bit low, but Old 11 is not going to chase that down. Instead, turns around and goes for Twen here, who with his last bit of mana, going to make a jump away. Jab's trying to cover his retreat here. He gets a little bit more mana, enough for maybe a small jump, but it's not going to get him out either way. Jabs actually turns around and tries to kill PYW, but this is a suicide run to try and get a kill, and he doesn't even get that much. Vici Gaming win the fight again.
Now they're right into the Roche pit. How are they getting these dubs? I legit don't know. Like, I guess just killing off the Night Stalker, right? Because suddenly Old 11 goes from a 0 to a hero. His creep is untouched, and just, oh, not to mention the AC timing. That is pretty significant. +5 armor to your team, -5 to the enemy. Quite possibly the best aura in Dota 2 that's purchasable in the shop. I mean, great silence used from death, but he caught the Gale, and he's just dead. And Raven survives, but can't sit there and auto attack. Way too much damage taken. And I believe that Venomancer ulti hit 4 heroes.
Yeah. Yeah, I think some of it is... So, last team fight, they got the initiation on Fnatic, but ultimately, what did they initiate on? DY and PYW. They killed the 2 supports, but they didn't kill any cores. This time around, Fnatic is the one who gets initiated on. Similar situation, they can't touch the cores. Like, they can't do anything to this Quap, Lycan, and Tiny. Now, I imagine things will change once they get BKBs on Fnatic. They did have theirs on Twen last team fight. Maybe this Night Stalker BKB can help things out. I feel like they just should be. Is Raven just not able to get good damage in because of the Lycan Wolves from his Eclipse?
A bit, but you know, it's also maybe just like it feels like he should have more net worth, right? When you consider how good his game was going, he did go. That is something. Look at the talents he chose. He went for the Lucent Beam mini stun instead of the glaive damage.
Oh yeah. And when you're free farming like that, yeah.
It also you're playing against all these units.
Yeah. No, I agree.
I feel like the glaive damage is the whole point of your hero in this kind of game.
Yeah.
And either way, like, you want to see him like 2-3k gold ahead of the game, and he's just not there at the moment. Scotty coming up shortly, but oh, Aghanims, Old 11, next item, huge fan. Huge fan. He's gonna turn his Tiny into a
Stone
wolf.
Wolf. That's pretty metal right there. PYW getting picked off. Scouted. They did pop Darkness for that, so. Death sees the TP out. Eat the creep, 250 gold. You could do that every 20 seconds if it's nighttime. Again, if it's daytime, you can't eat Ancients. You can only eat regular creeps. So that means that the Helm of Overlord is a little bit more resilient in that regard.
Tier 3 items will begin to start dropping. Watching to see if anybody catches some lucky RNG.
Speaking of items, don't forget that you too can get item drops.
Yes. Link your Steam account to your Twitch account and receive treasures, items galore.
Bell didn't even ask us to do that. We're just sellouts for free. It is pretty cool though. I got my item already.
Oh.
Orchid caught. Twen is going to be forced to use his BKB, and he almost chopped down that tree.
There are really cool other things.
Whoa!
Whoa!
How did he jump before that scream hit him? That's crazy. Raven committing for this tier 2. If he's not careful, if he doesn't control this, he may end up getting comboed. The Nightmare self, BKB up, Eclipse. What a turnaround from DJ, allowing Raven to be able to get away and get a kill. And they get out on both of them. That was sick. That was naughty. Well played, Fnatic.
That's nasty. Like, he actually got the sleep off. which prevented some of the damage from Shaker, and then boom, the grip. Double
I think it was
TP.
mid-toss, too,
Yeah.
so I don't even think he took toss damage. That was all around excellent.
Indeed. You know what else is excellent? Some of these voice lines. Our hardworking teams
All
and
right.
talent have put these into the game.
Uh-huh,
So-
So if you like this cast,
yeah.
you don't need to like or subscribe. Just purchase the voice line, perhaps. 17 to 11.
I will say I do respect, if you look, all 5 members of Team Fnatic are also supporters of Team Fnatic. And Vici Gaming with the same. I dig it. I like to see it. You saw throughout most of the lead up to TI, everybody was rocking fandoms from other squads. But it is the time for Team Unison to win. All the chips are down. Only a 2K gold lead. Aegis, 30 seconds remaining. And, you know, end of the day, Fnatic are a bit behind, but Lycan does fall off, as does Quap.
Oh, DY. Very nice. Fast reaction from him. Twins just heavily committing to kill this Venomancer. I'm not a fan of that. He's low on mana. This is not good at all.
Dire's bottom tower
It's support Venomancer. Like,
The first zip, okay. The second, sure. The third,
that's just egregious. That's just too far.
and the problem is, like, it felt like this was a great storm. Like, I don't think that Twins played poorly, but his net worth tells a different story. He's 9-3.
Oh, they got him. Fiend's grip before he could blink away. DJ.
Huge.
Hey, playmaking 5 position. He's on it. He's on the case. Defensive nightmares. Great Fiend's grips. They've kind of, remember they delayed that blink dagger for so long. Nom, 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 nom.
That feels good. And yeah, I think DJ so far is the star. Bottom net worth, but certainly not in terms of game impact. He has been feasting in this top jungle. I believe responsible for 8 of the kills that took place in the area. And oof, the win probability has dropped off, but Fnatic still hold that.
I mean,
even with the net
look
worth
look how
disadvantage.
far the net worth had to be in favor of Vici Gaming for it to be even.
Mm-hmm.
They had to be up by 5K for Dota Plus to be like, okay, this is an even game. And as it starts creeping back into the favor of Fnatic once again, it seems to be backing Fnatic more and more. But who knows?
Yeah.
We don't have a ton of data, I would say, so far on this carry Tiny in this patch for Dota Plus. So it could just end up being wrong.
And we'll say DJ, I think that whole kill top came down to he has a psychic headband in addition to the Aether Lens, so some pretty nuts cast range. And here's the thing, is this the real deal? Aghanims on Old 11, Wolf Bite. You get Shapeshift. Well, the cool thing is that the target gets lifesteal, and
Yep.
they share it with each other.
Yep.
So you truly become a pack of wolves. This is really effective with heroes like Tiny because you just stay alive. You can even see the Moon Shard for Tiny. So kind of banking on this idea that the sustain and added damage of Lycan, so you know all Tiny really needs is this attack speed. So no defensive items necessary. He's just gonna smack people. It is also quite nice that there's an AC on his ally so that he can just go full in terms of the right-click damage.
Yeah. And the fact that like they're both durable heroes means that there's no chance of one of them being bursted down or anything, right?
Yeah.
Like they're going to survive. They're going to keep right-clicking. They're going to right-click a lot. And it's going to result in a
Yeah.
huge boost in HP for both of them.
And I gotta say, I can't imagine, you know, if you haven't been following Dota for a while, looking at you, Melk, and Merlini, if you're in the cast, like, imagine looking at the Lycan Aghanims and thinking to yourself, wow, what the
let's
heck
not
is that?
disgrace Merlini's name here, all right? That man still grinds Dota.
Well, I just meant maybe they hadn't seen the Aghanims. This would surprise them. These typically weren't so complex back in the day. Just be like, hey, your ult does more damage. Oh, grip.
Grip, but it's immediately silenced up by Ori, allowing him to get off the BKB on Poyoyo. Fnatic,
They're out.
ult, just fast retreat from most of them here. Death is going to be the one who is going to die for that. There's
Oh
there's
my
the blue wolf.
dude. It's terrifying. The thing about it is that Tiny is such a recognizable model. When you turn into the wolf, you can kind of lose track of the hero, and he hits a lot harder than Old 11.
413 damage.
With the ability to crit.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Nom nom. 1100 damage, just like that. Oh, they're going to catch him, though. Pull him back in. Hold him in. Raven coming in with the Eclipse. Is that enough damage? It is. So Poyo a little bit too far. Like, he just went up into the enemy triangle by himself. The rest of Vici Gaming were not ready for that. They didn't have Shapeshift. They didn't have Wolf Bite.
And no BKB on Tiny prepared.
Yeah, that's
Not advisable.
is a man who's played at TI several times.
A couple times.
Does the pressure, does the pressure hit you hard right away? Like, when you first day group stage, you're like, do you feel the pressure even though you're just sitting in your team room and stuff?
I'd say not as much. I think main event, certainly it hits. But
Okay.
group stage, I think, is more excitement. If anything, you see mistakes like that. Not made out of hesitancy or nervousness, but just maybe get a little skittish. You're excited.
Yeah, you
wanna
want to fight.
play.
You want to keep going. Let's
Exactly.
take. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I could see that. That makes sense.
And this is unfortunate timing because Fnatic, they have access to the pit. I don't know if they want to make a move for it, but they do have 30 seconds of a 5-on-4 advantage. The power play, will he be able to get an edge off of it?
They have Darkness coming up in 12 seconds, plus full nighttime coming in 20 seconds. It's good time for them as they're going to start off leading, pick off onto DY. Vici Gaming, no response from them. Potential pick up on Jabs here as they managed to knock him down right as he jumped from that tree.
Ooh, the sleep immune on the dagger.
Very nice.
And into the pit. 30 seconds on the power play. Benno does have buyback, however, and the shrine was not taken.
They're going to pop Darkness.
Wolf bite.
They've got good vision of the incoming Vici Gaming, but Death is going to be jumped first, and he just gets bursted down by that Stone Wolf that came in. Raven is going to be forced away from the pit here. They're going to buy back immediately on Death, but this doesn't feel good. They use their Darkness for that. It's still going to be nighttime, yes, but that clear vision was supposed to be a big advantage for playing around the Roche pit.
It's just this time. Oh my god. He has a free Daedalus, effectively.
Yeah.
Plus the hasted move speed. Like, this is a terrifying combination. And you're starting to feel a little spooked, I think, if you're Fnatic. You need this Aegis. It's a 1-carry draft against what feels like 3.
How do they lead this off? How do they take this? Can't wait forever. Invis rune, nothing big, nothing like a double damage or an arcane rune. That would seriously change how maybe the team fight is played.
I really like this shard pickup on the Quap as well. A little bit extra damage, but the silence, really key if you want to catch the Bane or the Monkey.
They're going to try and rush it down.
Oh my god.
Jabs is here. He's ready to go for the Boundless Strike. They're going to try and interrupt this one. They jump in. Can they grab it? Oh, the grab up. He does manage to get it. Jabs, no way. Gives the Aegis right in front of 2 members of Vici Gaming. He'll die inside the pit, but for a worthy cause. Raven turns around, fighting up against Ori as he was looking to chase after the support of DJ. Jabs dies the second time. Fnatic ultimately managing to deny the Aegis the second life to Vici Gaming is a big win. The shard does go over. It looks like Lycan is going to take it.
Okay, that's the wolf starting to spawn in the waves, right?
Yeah, I don't think you want to give that to... Yeah, okay, they passed it over to PYW, so now they have the Earthshaker one. Much better for team fights.
Oh.
Turning around, does manage to chain set him up a little bit. The Eclipse going down, but unfortunately could not keep Ori in place. Thanks to the 4-staff coming down from DY. Poyo, a different matter though, but they're running out of damage. Poyo, the last little bit, Raven's able to get it, but now he turns around. It's just too much damage coming out from Ori. Nice stun from PYW, controlling up 2. Can they get out Ori? They cannot. He's going to die. Mass TP's out. No stuns available from Fnatic, but it was double buybacks from Fnatic that managed to allow them to hold on to that team fight in the first place.
It was. Raven, I think, could have saved his. Like, he died right as they finished the kills, and he just kind of buys back to arrive. Maybe he was in XP range. It's a very expensive maneuver because he's really just the sole source of sustained damage in these fights.
Yeah.
Chuand is playing like a good game, but I worry that he's just too far behind.
Yeah.
Like Orchid, BKB, Bloodstone, you know, they'd love to have a Shivas. They'd love somebody on the lineup to be able to pick up an AC, but I don't even know who does that on your team in this game.
It's interesting. Jabs, I mean, you're talking about the multiple cores. Jabs is trying to turn into a serious core. Diffuse a Blade, BKB. He's going to go for a Scotty. Was thinking about Aghanim Scepter as well. AC next for Death. I think part of the problem is this Night Stalker's not scaling as well as we kind of expected it to. Is that he's just dying first in a lot of these fights, which is surprising considering he's relatively high armor. Obviously, he's going to have a lot of HP for a strength hero. He's got BKB, but it feels like every fight he just jumps and is kind of dead.
And you can also feel like, I look at Raven's build, and I understand why he, like, there's a lot of defensive items. Scotty, Silver Edge, like the MOM, the Dragonlance, now going for a Satanic. You know, typically we see Daedalus a lot earlier. Even a Butterfly in this kind of game, forcing MKB on heroes like Tiny and Lycan could be effective.
Oh yeah, Tiny doesn't like building MKB, and then it also would have helped early against Lycan and his summons, right?
I always fear, like, Silver Edge, I think maybe just, not unnecessary, but it's just tough. That is a very expensive item on a hero that doesn't really get too much out of the guarantee.
Oh, we caught him! PYW, patient, waited it out, ends up catching Tuan as he goes for that bit of a split push. A big kill for 75 seconds like that. That is easily a tier 2 and possibly a high ground poke to see what happens. Oh man, they went Scythe now. On to old 11.
I like that. I like that quite a bit. You just needed catch, right? And all of a sudden, like, you certainly have damage. I mean, Poyo, look at this. He's just getting buffed up now by the Triceratops. He is smacking things. This is why Tiny is so terrifying.
Frenzy, 75 attack speed. People forget about this ability a lot. Jabs is going to try and hold. Oh, okay, they're actually going to go for it. A buyback, jump in, Sonic Wave going out, but it looks like they're going to surround Poyo and bring him down. And once the Tiny's dead, they can easily take the rest of this team fight, I think. They're not going to let him escape, are they? DY, TP's out, Boundless Strike available. Oh, just a half a second off the mark there. PYW gets away as well. Ultimately, a buyback that only kills the carry of Vici Gaming, but now they're left with no buybacks on 2 of their heroes, or 3.
This has been such a great game. Like, both these teams are disengaging incredibly well. We saw Fnatic do it, you know, in the top lane a few times. That's nuts that Vici only lose 1 hero. They're fighting. Can we save the Tiny? Can we save the Tiny? Nope. Okay, everybody get the hell out of there. Both Quap and Shaker survive with barely a few frames to spare.
Yeah.
Let's see. No Aegis anymore. Can we check all the items, Cap?
Yes,
go
sir.
to my storied observer. Okay, tier 4 is not really claimed yet by Vici. Telescope on DJ, that could be sick. It's probably why that grip actually was able to land. It was pretty much from another continent. And let's see, Jabs closing in on the Scotty. Surprised he's going for that. They already have the 1.
Yeah.
And let's see. Like, AC on Death is going to be really big. As you said, the Hex on the Lycan. Lincoln's finished now on Ori.
We also have some of the talents, right? We've got a spell block on Ori.
Oh, wow. Double Lincoln's. He's not getting gripped anymore.
No. And then we'll also have the 32% chance Shapeshift Critical Strike on Lycan once he gets 25.
Does that affect bitten targets?
I believe so, but I could not swear to it.
Blessings upon a loyal warrior.
I would
I cannot say I've
think
tested
so.
it, so. I mean, you just...
No, it does. 'Cause it says granting them shapeshift properties.
Yeah.
So,
you get the shapeshift properties. The question is whether or not, like, the talent is involved. Like, whether or not that talent transfers over.
Yeah. It's like one of those things that's like, you know, oh, you should know that, Cap, but Like,
No, I'll be honest. I actually think our audience is pretty accepting that if we don't
like,
know that.
there's so much to know. You know, it's like, oh,
Yeah.
well, we could have tested. Like, you just don't realize till you come to TI that you're going to need to be testing how do shapeshift properties work after level 25, especially like, now, if Knoxville's here to be running numbers on how hard will Tiny crit if he gets the double attack off now with post-satanic
Yeah, if he gets
upcoming.
double crits. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Double crits on the Echo Saber hit?
And what if it's
Pretty
like
sweet.
now Frenzy? It's like, what are the DPS numbers really getting to? Any other 25 talents that are huge? 2 toss charges. That is sick for Poyoyo. He legitimately just kills everybody now in the duration of 2 tosses. Veno, anything crazy? No. More Fisher range for the Shaker. That's quite nice. And Fnatic.
Wait, I'm sorry. That talent is 320 now?
Was 350 in the past, right?
Oh, okay. All I knew is it just wasn't 320.
Yeah.
Scanning.
It's an odd number.
Overload attack bounce is pretty nasty. Trans damage will be significantly increased. Has the Aeon disc. I actually think that's a necessary pickup considering how, like, that death top kind of taught him a lesson. Like, wow, I just get nuked down easily. This is bad for us.
For sure.
And Luna, he's all in for the Eclipse damage. And he is going for a butterfly. I really like to see it. I think it's a little late, but if he can pick one up, that'll be huge for his team.
Fnatic sees it. And again, they're going to take the support that is offered to them. DY will die here. Death quickly
Gem.
takes that helm of
get
the
the gem.
Overlord. They did not grab the gem. Old 11 does manage to run back and grab it. So it's returned safely back into the hands of Vici Gaming. Nothing major given or lost.
Old 11 so far this series has been very, very good.
Oh, yeah.
And talk about a player who's been criticized for being inconsistent. It does feel like he has sharpened his blades in the run-up to this TI. He's still unbelievable. If you are new to Dota, $40 million on the line in this tournament, over 18 to first place.
Dire are
And that
scanning.
hangs over the heads of each and every player.
They've got
in
really
this
good
match.
vision on Vici Gaming. They see these heroes, but they're going to try and grab them. Jabs, too fast for him. Managed to jump down from his tree. I think they knew Raven was over here as well. Didn't actually hit him, though. They're going to chase, but if they don't catch anything, this is going to be Shapeshift and the Bite used. And an opportunity for Fnatic to take a team fight with it being nighttime. All they have to do is just be careful not to lose anybody here.
And things are a little tough right now. If you go to current net worth, you can see one of my concerns.
Ah.
Current gold.
Current
Yeah, yeah.
I don't even know what button that is.
Look at how much gold Raven has saved up. You know,
Mamma mia.
that's a full item. So yeah, he's top net worth, but it is a little deceiving because he's not that item ahead yet, like it appears on the charts.
Yeah.
I should really learn the hotkeys so I can help you out. Hang on.
No, my hotkeys are custom because for me, most of the time there's only 4 that you need.
Gotcha.
CS, GPM, net worth, buyback.
Credit to your camera skills. I've been watching, and it's maybe 4 out of 10 in comparison to JJ, so not bad at all.
I'll take it. If JJ is JJ 10 out of 10.
Yes.
Okay.
Well,
If JJ's 10 out of 10. I'll take 4 out of 10. I aspire to be 5, but you know.
Here we go. This is the tense part of the game. Roshan spawning momentarily. One fight. Both teams claiming their side of the river. They're going to go.
Trying to grab, trying to blow up Old 11 first and foremost. Death actually makes his way to the back lines to make sure PYW doesn't get a jump in, but they do not get the kills they were searching for, and they've got a full-out retreat, and they're catching up to him. You could see the Wolfpack is in force. They jump forward, grab Raven. Raven, sight, Nightmare gets off the BKB, and he turns around fighting up against two Wolves. The Eclipse, can he actually do this? The battle, the shapeshifts, that is not going to be good enough for Vici Gaming. A full-out Fiend script on a Poyoyo means that they lose this one. Fnatic now just going to be able to run down what heroes they can. PYW is first. Looks like DY TP'd out. Ori is unspotted. Fnatic, this Roshan is theirs.
Unbelievable. They just turned and fought the safety and sanctuary provided by the Wukongs, I was terrified for them. You see 2 hungry wolves chasing,
Yeah.
but they just straight up turned and fought. The Satanic used by Raven, he just tanked the damage.
And now
they
Raven,
kill everyone.
he can commit his gold.
Yeah.
Right? If they get an Aegis, he doesn't have to worry about holding on a buyback or anything. He can get his butterfly. He can start looking at where do you even go from here? Do you actually what do you go from here? Do you go Moonshard?
Yeah. I think
And
another
just try and keep slot efficiency?
yeah, quick point about that last fight too. They had the
Yeah.
AC on death. Like that item is so helpful to them because you're at a 10
Yeah.
armor disadvantage until you can equalize.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But I think maybe just chased a little far. Like the Shaker didn't even get off a spell, right? Like was not the ideal team fight.
Yeah, he really didn't. What happened to him? Because I felt like the 2 wolves were drawing everybody's attention, so how did PYW not get anything off?
Oh, it doesn't want to jump to BKBs, and then there's a Wukong down,
Yeah.
level 25 at that. So now all of a sudden, Jab's like, maybe you even keep pushing here. We're going to see. They have very strong line. This is scary. Okay, wow.
Fnatic, calling it that, just a tier 3, which honestly for Vici Gaming is probably pretty fortunate for them, because we've all seen once a Luna starts hitting the barracks buildings, the glaives start bouncing around. It's so hard to take that team fight.
I will say also, there's a lot to be said about the talent choice of this Luna. The BKB on Tiny had faded that last year. Oh,
Oh, what a big jump for Twin! What initiation of practical ravage that is followed up from the Wukongs, and that's just it. Vici Gaming, they've lost this team fight, and unless they've got buybacks, which it looks like 2 of them don't, it may just be the game flat out.
Oh my.
Holy crap. What?
Wow.
Oh,
Aghanim's from
there it
Roshan.
is. That's the MVP ward right there. That is the MVP ward. Vici Gaming did not know that they were being seen. And we may just be seeing the end again. They're going to buy back here on the Tiny. We'll see whether or not Fnatic wants to hit the tier 4s
Oh, hell yeah, they do.
and force this out of Vici Gaming. Maybe they're going to play it slow. Raven's like, okay, I'm going to do it.
It's a 5-on-3. Just hit the buildings. What are you going to do now?
Ori, he's going to jump forward immediately. Satanic being used by Raven to deal with that Orchid. The tier 4s are going to get cleaned out so quickly. They've got to buy back now on Old 11. They're going to buy back now. Raven immediately trying to retreat. If they could stop him somehow, it would be nice, but they're just going to have to let him go. After all, he's got the Aegis, and yeah, we can go ahead.
Yeah, run that back. Really
Yeah, I
quick
want to
before
see
we-
that team fight again. That was so sick. That initiation was amazing.
Yeah, and they now replace a ward outside. So just trying to keep vision in the critical parts of this map as we run the just again, they have vision. 4-man Ravage into the 4-man Silence. Everybody goes in. Chuan just so much damage, and then the enormous Wukong just they kill everybody. Like the Scotty's coming into play there. And is there a shard on the Storm now? Yes, there is. The damage output, you suddenly have the answer to the Vici Gaming teamfight initiation burst. Because if you get off the Aghanim's pull into the overload, like suddenly that's like Nightstalker Luna, they're certainly going to get hit by it.
Yeah.
And suddenly you're just blasting people with massive amounts of AoE magic damage.
And the fact that Jabs is built himself to turn into a core allows him to be able to follow up that AoE with good hits of himself. They're going to find a jump here into the triangle. Once again, a 3-man grab. Twin just keeps it up here, pulling them back into their doom as the Wukong's command ring is so hard for them to get out of. Ori may be the only survivor of that. They're going to buy back on PYW, so Twen's going to be careful here. Make sure not to jump too forward and get caught. Raven, meanwhile, battling mano-a-mano against Poyo-Yo, but now a second man has entered into the arena. Twin is going to try and help out Raven. Raven with the bouncing glaives. It looks like he's going to be losing out this one, and now they're going to mass buy back on Fnatic to see if they can bail out the second life of Raven. He's going to be in trouble, though. He doesn't have anything to stop this. No BKB. He's just going to be whomped on. Poyo-Yo with the ultra kill, and this game just got real interesting, Kyle. Fnatic will not have buybacks on any of their heroes.
Wait, what?
If Raven commits.
What happened? What actually? Okay, I guess Chuen, a little bit of a miscue. He got Ori, but there was an immediate buyback, and then suddenly the Storm was in no man's land, and they get reinitiated on PYW coming through. But what happened in that fight?
I think BKB Satanic was used as well by Raven, and Poyoyo was allowed to just disengage, so they kind of waited that out. I think they were really realizing they have to like kind of poke at Fnatic and get back out because... Oh, jabs. Tossed up again and again, but he's going to be caught. Interrupted by Chuen. They managed to get off the balance trick, but the BKB out from Poyoyo allows him to escape from this. Okay. I didn't even realize Ori was still in there.
He wasn't. He blinked in.
Why did he blink in? What do you mean he blinked in? Everybody else was leaving. Okay, Death, they're going to try and turn around and kill him. One toss. Do they have another one to be able to finish him off? They don't need it.
No buyback.
The damage is too much. Jabs. Jumping down for the trees. Poyoyo, he's still got a little bit more of this wolf form. He's going to be slept. Somebody wake him up. He can finish off Jabs. Whoa, there's the jump for BYW. Stopping the Fiend's grip. Immediately gets Oregoned. Back over to Poyoyo, who's doing the battle out with Jabs. He wins that one. But the Storm Spirit, the Raven, they're going to force staff him over to the other side of the Fissure to see if they can stay on to Poyoyo. And Juan's not letting him get away. With the last sliver of mana, he will spell the doom of Old 11, the doom of Poyoyo, and the end of Game 2. Fnatic lock it down. And this series is a tie.
Oh my god, I don't know. Oh my, what an insane ending sequence. Vici Gaming, like, they did a great job kiting the Wukongs, and then all of a sudden, Ori's in the middle of it, he's dead. Then they're trying to get around, they kill off the Nitro with no buyback, but they're just outnumbered. End of that game. Well done by Fnatic. What a series. The first tie that I've seen after our opening 4 all went 2-0.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Crazy, crazy game. You could see it there from the graphs. I mean, Fnatic was favored so heavily early on, but they managed to claw back at a very critical point. We were talking about how Fnatic was just going to roll over them once they hit the Night Stalker timing, but they managed to get good team fights. All of a sudden, it was a little dicey for Fnatic.
Whoever placed that ward, I believe it was Jabs from the trees.
Probably, yeah.
Sets up Chuen to make, like, the play of his current TI career.
Yeah.
One of our rookies. What a performance. What a series. They walk away 1-1. This group is looking fearsome, but head held high. I think these are both teams that have a chance of breaking upper bracket just based on what we saw so far. I think the drafts from both sides were solid. Some learning definitely possible for both teams, but just fantastic Dota. God, it's fun, and this is just our first time.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about this going in, setting kind of like the story of this series. We said Vici Gaming was probably expected a little bit higher than Fnatic, just purely because Fnatic's performance at Dota Pit was so disappointing, right?
Yeah.
But it looks like that, that's the thing about TI. You really have no idea to what to expect from these teams because we have usually a month of time where we have no information on these guys, and a lot can change.
And shout out to Fnatic. They've been here for a long time. Talking to Eric, the director of their Dota 2 team, they showed up like 2 weeks even earlier than they'd expected because they thought they might have to quarantine. Then they showed up. They're like, no, there is no quarantine. So they've just been boot camping and grinding in this region for weeks. I've played like 15 games with Death, and it goes to show you just never know what to expect. Shout out again, the support duo. I think DJ and Jabs really stepped up in this game specifically. Both with the warding and the plays. I mean, Jabs is looks like a mid player out here. He of course was the carry player for Fnatic the last time they were here at TI. He has downgraded himself, but upgraded himself to captain, and 1-1. Wow, yeah.
Yeah, great series, great series. TI is off to a great start. Cannot wait to catch some more, but we are going to have to wait. We're going to have a break before the next series starts.